welcome and good morning. Welcome to Reef Rushdown. I'm I'm joined today by Riley. Hello, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine, thank you for asking. I'm excited to be here. This is the second Reef Rushdown. Looks like the teams we're going to be looking at right now are Sturgeon Turf versus NERV. Do you recognize any of these people or have anything to say about them?
I really only recognize Ray, and that's only by name. I do think they are going in maybe with some special names. At least NERV, I believe, is actually a reference to Evangelion. So I think they all have maybe something in common, maybe an like a shared admiration for that show. But either way, I don't really have many I guess premonitions you would say about this match before it starts. I'm not really sure what to expect, and I'm not really familiar with these players, so I guess it's kind of a wild card for this one.
Yeah, I'm pretty much in exactly the same boat. The only real predictions we can make are going off of map mode. So we're looking at Rainmaker on MuscleForge Fitness here. There
Yeah.
are, I don't know, what would you expect to see here?
Usually you see someone who has like some sort of back line here. Um, so I will kind of be expecting to see that from this. There's only really one way to go. Don't see it back on either team, kind of. We do have a bamboo on one side, which can be kind of helpful, but we don't see any stingrays, which are pretty common in maps like this, where there's like maybe only one safe route to take the Rainmaker and then one risky one where you kind of only go there when you get a wipe. That being said, very early into the match, both splooshes on Sturgeon Turf do go down, and that's actually going to be a very full wipe, taking this route that I was just talking about, where you only kind of go when you get a full wipe. Link just getting a ton of kills up in their base. They're basically spawn camping at this point, but it looks like the rest of the team did decide to go and take the right route. I think they could have taken either here, but I think this was a good choice for them. It is a lot safer. Link going to be popping that bomb rush into their base. This could be a very early knockout, but it isn't. Link just being the only one left is just going to be forced to back out at this point in time, while Lobster drops the Rainmaker out of their spawn.
Although based on how he was performing in the first leg of this match, he could probably take them on anyway. But we're looking at Sturgeon Turf here, or Sturgeon Turf rather, actually getting some points on the board. There are very few safe leads in Rainmaker, so they could very easily, as long as they are able to push forward with specials and get picks, they might be able to take it here. Maybe,
Yeah.
although it's way too early to say.
Yeah, they are running out of time very quickly here, and with only 2 people up left on their team, Sturgeon Turf is going to have to make some very quick moves, and unfortunately that is going to be a delayed full wipe for them. I believe just the bomb rush coming out of that there again to help clear out that area. So now Poetry is going to be taking back mid. 50 is not really that much on MuscleForge Rainmaker, so they still have a long way to go, but they still have a lot of time to get back. So honestly, this isn't the end of the game for oh, sorry, my brain. Sturgeon Turf right now, they still have some chances to get in, and when you have a comp with 2 splooshes with the hammer in it, you do have quite a good chance if you're able to pop those at just the right time and kind of when the enemy team isn't expecting it.
Definitely. Mid control seems to be pretty neutral here. Everybody's just kind of vying for pop, but we see the Inkjet putting pressure over their sponge area. There's like 2 of Sturgeon Turf in mid. Although one of the members of Sturgeon Turf is going to go down. But we have the Stamp.
Actually, that was 2 members of NERV. So actually, this trade is not bad for them at all. They do have a bit of a chance to push up here. It is just going to be the K-Pro and the Splash left, but they are kind of they are a bit outranged here by those weapons. And unfortunately, backing up right into the bomb of that. I believe that was the bomb rush from that Splash. So that is going to stop them pretty early on. And with only Lobster being the last one left, that is going to end that push there. Just assuming that Lobster isn't going to do something absolutely freaky, because you never know what's going to happen with the double sploosh comp. Looks like he did opt to sit in the corner and was going to try and surprise them with that hammer, but I think they kind of spotted him out early and knew that he was going to be sharking, being the last one left.
I certainly know that that can be a viable strategy at points, but sometimes it's just not going to work out and you got to know when to get out of there. But it looks like the Rainmaker is basically stalled out. Sturgeon Turf has all their specials online. this could be rather nasty for NERV here if they're smart about how they use them.
Unfortunately for them, I believe that the Rainmaker is in a very, very bad place for Sturgeon Turf. That's one of the worst places to have it, given that they want to be pushing on the right now. And getting too close to that snipe, they are going to get spotted out by Link, who is just sitting on that snipe waiting for them. Leo's going to have to pop that Rainmaker shield all by himself. And he does have a Bomb Rush ready, but they are going to just throw it away to pick up the Rainmaker instead, because they do get a full wipe onto NERV. This is their chance to get a lead here. They do just have to be careful about it, and they do get the lead by 1 point!
Nice.
And
they were just barely tripped up by that suction bomb.
Yeah, you never know with Rainmaker on this map. You can get it pushed all the way to 8, and you can still come back from it. But this is going to be a bit of a retaliation from NERV at this point in the game. They are going to be kind of throwing everything they can at this Rainmaker here to get them out of the way. But Ray is going to stop them with that Inkjet snipe onto the... I believe that was the bamboo. I'm not too sure. So they are going to have to come back in with one less person, and it is a very tense point in the match. With only 30 seconds left, they are going to have to beat that lead and get it to 6, which is basically on the base of the pedestal.
Definitely. It's a rather hard spot for the Rainmaker to be in. And yeah, it looks like NERV is going to be getting mostly control of mid as they get a pick on the T-Tech, but they have 10 seconds left, and they're in possession of the Rainmaker. They don't have to push it anymore. They can just stall it out here if they want to.
Oh, NERV is not the one with the lead, though. They have to move it up right now.
Oh.
They have overtime, but there is 2 hammers up on the other side, so they're kind of doomed, I think, at this point, unless they kill the Splooshes before they are able to deploy them. Looking like they are getting some picks, but they only have 30 seconds, and they did lose the Rainmaker off of screen.
That's highly unfortunate. But you see what I mean about there never being a safe lead in Rainmaker. And even then, that was a very even match. The Slosher in particular was very strong. They put on a show for us here.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think that game could have gone either way, and now I have like even less knowledge. I don't even know what to expect from the rest of this game. But we did get like a bit of a peep at what they were kind of running as far as comps go. I believe it was NERV which had the 2 Splooshes. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I think I might be. No, Ray had the Jet.
NERV didn't have 2 Splooshes.
Yes, NERV did have the 2 Splooshes. So I do think from this next game, which is going to be Camp Triggerfish, geez. Camp Triggerfish zones, we can kind of expect that they are going to be running a comp that is probably relevant to that map mode. I think a lot of people pick Sploosh specifically for Rainmaker, so I think NERV's game plan is going to kind of revolve around playing towards specific map modes and what works on those map modes in particular. So what do you feel is like a really good pick specific to Camp Triggerfish zones?
Well, in my mind, that's probably Explosher, but
yeah, I was thinking
there's a lot of other weapons that
I think
thrive on here,
everything
such as probably
with
even
range,
such as bamboo or like tent umbrella. And given that there was a bamboo present in the previous match on the side of NERV, I would not be surprised to see that again. Splat zones on Camp Triggerfish is very interesting, though, especially in terms of practicing, because it basically forces you... It's basically a test of, like, how well can you pair up together.
Oh yeah, 100%. So if one of these teams is a pickup, which I'm not entirely sure of myself, we will have to kind of see here, I guess, which one will have the better coordination, and that will ultimately win them the game.
We do see the tent umbrella and the Explosher. Sadly, no bamboo, but yes, we see a pretty good amount of paint coming out from both teams here.
Yeah, honestly, both of these teams have very good zones-oriented comps. We kind of expected that out of NERV to be sort of picking these weapons, and they did go with the tent umbrella, which was really smart for them. As you can see here, Kiz has popping the shield into zone. It's the perfect width to cover that zone. It's very hard to get around, so having that is really useful for their teammate to come up behind them. Unfortunately, though, getting caught up by the L3 here onto the left side, and now he's just going to start chasing after the other member of NERV who has moved on to that right side. So I think at this point in the game, yep, NERV is going to have to rotate back into their own zone and kind of forget about this side here. Ray being one of the only people left, though, on the side of Sturgeon, so they might have to back up just a little bit here and hold on to his jet. Just sort of waiting on his teammates to come back and support him. That being said, they do get the cap back onto their zones, so this is going to be a bit of a push for NERV here.
We did see that the L3 was able to stay alive despite being pressured by the tent and its curling launcher. It's definitely interesting to see how that played out. But currently, Sturgeon Turf has gone 2 down, but we just saw the Inkjet there get a pick on one of the members of NERV. They might be able to stay in control here.
Yeah, Sturgeon Turf counting down a lot of points despite the fact that members of them are going down. So that's going to be very punishing for NERV. They are kind of deciding to rotate back all 4 of them into their own zone, which is, I think, the smart decision to do here. But they do have to keep in mind that there is an L3 who may flank them right now. And I do believe they are watching that right as we speak. There is somebody coming around on that side. The Explo is in their zone, kind of just applying pressure here. They're kind of in between 2 different things right now with the rain and that Explo. They don't have many places to move around, even on their side. So they're doing a great job on Sturgeon to kind of lock out NERV, even though they only have one side of the map.
As we saw just there, the E-Leader was the last alive, as the K-Pro and NZAP both went down, and the tent was currently respawning, and they don't have much time left at all to get through. This could be the end of it, but we do see them trying to bomb zone and just cap the zone in any way they can. But if they can just hold up the paint here, as 3 members of NERV go down, though, so yeah,
it looks like that is going to be the game.
Or Sturgeon Turf, I mean. I'm good at that.
NERV lost the game, Sturgeon Turf took it. Unfortunately there, I think it was just too much of a lockdown for the E-Leader to handle. It can be really, really good when you do have like your entire side controlled for the E-Leader, where you can kind of block out the Explo. But when it's the other way around and you have basically everyone on the enemy team in your zone, they kind of get too close to your own range for comfort, and it can be difficult. So you do have to rely a bit on the tent being able to set up, and I just think that they weren't able to in order to stop the Explo.
Definitely. We did see that they were making solid attempts to pair up and work with the tent, though, so it was definitely not for a lack of trying.
Yeah, honestly, a really good effort from both teams. NERV definitely showed that they had sort of what it could take, starting in that first game when they did get that very early on, very, very strong push. I believe over the course of the set, Sturgeon Turf did get a lot more momentum, and took all of that momentum with them into Camp Triggerfish zones.
It honestly kind of makes me imagine how differently that game would have gone had they not stolen the lead in the first game like that. Because when you're that, like, I imagine they probably get pretty hyper after that, so, you know, they want to capitalize off that momentum and take it. But either way, we're going into Anchovy Tower, which is, it tends to be a whole lot less one-sided than either of these first 2 maps tend to be, so...
And it is worth noting, Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, it's fine. You're good. In terms of consistent weapons between the two, like the 2 teams, I would not be surprised to see like Slosher and L3 once again. I don't know about backline weapons, but I guess we'll be seeing here momentarily.
Yeah, we did see a charger in the last game, so I would have been surprised to see another one here again. We are actually seeing it out of the side of Sturgeon Turf instead. I was almost expecting it to come out of NERV, but ultimately I'm not too surprised by these comps. A lot of switching around, but Link going back to that Soda Slosher, which he did play very, very well in that first game on Muscle Forge. So hopefully is able to use that to his advantage here. Having that bomb rush can really help once you have a level of momentum, but they need to pick that up first. So hopefully they get a very strong opening with 1 pick already down. That squeezer being out of the way is going to be great for them, but I do believe that Booyah Bomb is going to slow them down just a little tiny bit here in starting off this game. They are missing out on a little bit of paint, but I guess from here on in, it just kind of, it's dependent on the picks here.
Definitely. And even when we saw that Sturgeon Turf was currently not all present in mid, they were still putting out a lot of pressure between the Charger, as well as the Squeezer and Kgal. This comp is very well-rounded on their side, and would definitely put out a lot of pressure with the Booyah Bomb and specials, or the bubbles, I mean, and also the Stingray here, which we are currently witnessing alongside this Booyah Bomb, with Tabris here being forced to kind of reposition so that he can properly apply the Inkjet.
Yeah, what we saw there actually, Ray heading right into the base of NERV very early on before they had even pushed it to 90. So they've just been heading in as fast as possible for Sturgeon Turf. They have a huge path painted ahead of them, and so that should be a pretty easy second checkpoint for them as well once they get to it, so long as they're able to hold control of this wall here, and looks like they're doing that pretty well. Most of the members of NERV actually backing up into the office here, only leaving Link on that wall there, and unfortunately eating that Booyah Bomb. So that is going to be, yeah, another easy checkpoint for them. It's only that last one there, and so they're just going to be trying to clear out the office. They are hosting some jumps into the street, even though they're one man down, that isn't going to stop them. The Squeezer just kind of building a little cubby for themselves in the office, just popping his bubbles and keeping two members of NERV occupied here.
It was definitely a smart/interesting play, and they were able to survive a long time off of that. And Sturgeon Turf is still in a great position here. They still have Ray, as well as the armor that just came online. Still, though, NERV is being put under a lot of pressure at the moment, but it looks like they might be able to get through this. There's currently 3 people teaming up on the Squiffer, although Sturgeon Turf is currently utilizing the Booyah Bomb that will surely break up that engagement. But it looks like NERV is ready to push ahead with their armor and Inkjet, and we see Link here already pushing up into the street, trying to just briefly tag anybody who's hiding around. The burst launcher there and Booyah is going to put a lot of paint and pressure in Sturgeon Turf's street and office area for sure.
Yeah, NERV actually taking a similar approach to what Sturgeon Turf did earlier. They're moving up as fast as possible with the picks that they have. Unfortunately, 2 of them going down just after that first checkpoint there. 62 isn't too bad early on, but that second checkpoint is going to be absolutely killer for them once they get there, because they are playing against the Charger. So if they are able to come back, they need to be anticipating to be able to fight that first and get that out of the way in order to get that check, because that is going to be a huge stop in their progress. That being said, 2 members of Sturgeon Turf going down right now. Link getting these picks in mid that are really important. However, the tower is not moving in the direction of their favor right now, and that's going to slow them down really, really badly. NERV needs to be able to defend this really well, because Sturgeon Turf can kind of play a little bit messy here if they want to. They can kind of just push up to stall tower and then just play defensively when it gets to their side.
Absolutely. Although they do have the burst launcher coming out here. You'll notice that the Charger on the side of Sturgeon Turf was basically just trying to farm Ray as fast as possible, and they appear to have jumped out, and it looks like they're going to be doing that from their spawn, and that's exactly what they do as one member of NERV goes down. And they also have the Booyah. That too. And, oh, that's actually going to be a full wipe on the side of NERV. I was going to say that, like, they also have their Booyah Bomb online in case that doesn't, the Ray doesn't work out for them, but I guess it did. And we see that, the Squeezer here on the side
climbing up into their office for kind of a long-winded flank, but he has bubbles. He can stall this out for as long as he wants. He's just keeping members of NERV active, just where he doesn't want them to be is in mid. So he's going to take them and he's going to try and distract them in office as best as he can. He's doing a pretty good job of stalling that heavy out, because they can kind of just do whatever they want at this point in the game. They don't really have like a specific direction, of course. H doing a really, really good job of just distracting NERV from being able to make some sort of push here. Actually getting picked out by the Charger here. That is going to be really, really important for them. They do need to grab this tower now, but unfortunately the Booyah Bomb coming out at the very last second, stopping any attempt that they would have had to be getting onto that tower there, unfortunately.
Definitely. Sturgeon Turf, I believe, had all of their specials on with like 5 seconds remaining. And while you saw that NERV was making an attempt with the armor and Inkjet combo, breaking through the Booyah and the Stingray to, like, get some more points on the board was going to be a very tall order. But it was definitely a valiant effort. These were really nice games to watch, and both of them really could have gone to either side.
Yeah, honestly, NERV showing some really strong picks, and then they showed that they had what it takes. But I just think that when it came down to it, when they wanted to push, they had to play a little bit faster. I think that was the main difference between Sturgeon and NERV in that set, was just you saw that they would get 1 or 2 picks, and then immediately they were moving up extremely far with Sturgeon. They did not really give NERV any room to breathe whenever they were pushing up, and that gave them an easier time defending because they would kind of stall for points as long as possible, and the opportunities that they gave NERV to move up were very few and far between, and the ones that they gave them, they were like, you can move up to like 50 before we'll have like a Stingray ready for you. So that was I think the nail in the coffin for them, unfortunately, for that game.
Definitely. Sturgeon Turf were just putting out way too much pressure in terms of their specials, amount of paint and picks they were getting. Although both of these teams, like I said, they were doing quite well. I would not be surprised to see either of them return in Top Cut and probably perform pretty well there as well. So definitely keep an eye on them moving forward.
Yeah, I honestly see great potential for either of these teams. Obviously, Sturgeon Turf had the member that I did recognize very early on. So I think as far as the Australian players, that is one of them to look out for. I believe Ray is actually one of the Australian players in this Australian tournament, which is surprisingly usually the minority. Um, so
Sad.
yeah,
Sorry, go ahead.
it happens. But NERV showing that they had quite a bit of fight versus this team means, to me at least, that they do have a lot of potential within this tournament. And maybe even though that this wasn't their set, I think they can definitely take a lot more.
Absolutely. Well, it would appear that we're just going to be heading into some sort of intermission here before round 2 begins. If you look on screen, you can see the various graphic designers who made all of this possible. Be sure to give them some love for all this. We hope you enjoy the rest of this journey moving forward. Thank you.
Welcome back. Good morning to the Australians, or good afternoon, and good night to the East Coast people. We're coming back with an interesting set with Big Nuts 700 versus the Egg Sink. Recognizable faces on Big Nuts, which are Shockwave, well known for Arctic Moon, kind of playing with some new people here. Ray also on this roster. There's two different Rays, I guess. And on the other team, yeah, we have Kay, Toko, Bell, and I don't want to say that A wrong, but that's not an A. What is that? I don't know. Man. Man. I'm just gonna call him Man. I'm sorry. So we're starting on Clamblitz Macomart. What do you think about this map mode, Riley?
I think that I personally enjoy Mako mode or Mako. Wait, what?
Okay, we've been told by our secret voice Krakenmare that the map mode is actually Clamblitz on Humpback and not Macomart, which is I don't know, slightly disappointing. I kind of wanted to see Macomart, but I guess we're going to Humpback, and that's okay. But at least we're on the right track now. So getting into this, we're seeing Shockwave on the Nautilus, which is, I think, a surprise to absolutely no one. Then we have kind of, I was about to compare the comps. They are nothing alike.
The Clash Neo on the side of Egg Sink is definitely an interesting but also understandable pick. And also, if I might draw attention, I was going to mention that the player of Remy on the side of Big Nuts has I mainly know them for their former involvement with the old team Splatter Swim, and I know them as a very strong tri-player, so the fact that it's coming out here for Humpback is not even remotely surprising. They're already getting a not too shabby push on the board, although it looks like Egg Sink is putting a lot of pressure in mid, and that's going to be the end of that push. They're going 2 down. They were just getting locked out too hard to really capitalize much on that. Although at the same time, it's not a bad penalty. Like, it's not a tall penalty either, so, like, if they can get back in and with a solid amount of clams, they can definitely expand on this further.
Yeah, I'm actually honestly surprised they only got it to 74, which is just a power clam and 2 smaller clams, just off of a full wipe. You expect a little bit more from that, but I guess with how early into the match it was, it's just... I guess he just didn't have enough clams ready to do so. That being said, they are now sitting on 21 clams, so if they do get another wipe here, it could be very, very brutal for Egg Sink. They're holding on to a few specials right now, kind of waiting for Shockwave to come back in since he was taken down. That being said, I kind of cursed it because now Bleh has gotten the pick onto that H3 there, which is going to put a bit of a slowdown on them. Unfortunately, though, looks like that isn't slowing down Big Nut 700 at all.
Yeah, we saw that Big Nuts had 3 specials online, and going 2 down really kind of handicapped their momentum to go forward, because Booyah is really great at initiating pushes in Clam Blitz, and they just kind of had to waste it, as it were, because they were being put into kind of a crummy situation. But we see here Remy on the Tri-Slosher is putting a ton of pressure in mid, holding on to Rain, as everyone else is just kind of trying to grab whatever clams they can.
Yeah, honestly,
as Egg Sink tries to build their own specials that they can, use, such as this here, where they managed to bring down 2 of them with an Ultra Stamp. Sorry for cutting off, by the way.
You're good. Yeah, taking that Ultra Stamp there, it's been a bit of a neutral game for a while. Not many people getting much of a man advantage here. They do get the clam all the way up to the basket, but unfortunately they're not going to really be able to savage that. Remy just camping out that clam here until it resets, and now he's going to be taking back top mid, which is exactly where he's going to want to be in order to hold on to that neutral game and have it in their favor. Pushing up here on that right side, they are still going to have to start collecting some more clams if they want to have a more significant push here. Remy going to be pushing that bunker there on that left side and just kind of watching out for that Hydra. He's the last one up on their team, so he is going to have to either back out or jump out or something, but unfortunately gets picked off. Didn't really have too many choices there. It was either lose the clams or, just die. And the hammer coming out, this is going to be a bigger push than Big Nuts had at the very beginning. They are getting these clams into the basket quite fast, and they are holding the basket open, just finding extra clams kind of on the side here as Big Nuts comes back in. Unfortunately, 3 of them going down while the Hydra has to kind of move back while collecting as well. So they are kind of ready to get their own push back so long as this Hydra stays alive. They are sitting on seven clams just on their own, but unfortunately getting taken out by Ray, so that is going to stop whatever extra momentum they have. But they do have the lead here, so they can kind of sit on their defense a little bit, but that is not a winning push when your enemy is at 74.
Especially with such a small penalty as 13. But we see that, sadly, the remix is going to go down, which will make starting their push a bit harder, and the Clash is going to bring down the H3 with them. But we see Remy here staying alive as he gets brought down by the stamp. Sorry for the curse, but it seems that both teams are in kind of an awkward position right now because they don't really have many clams. They don't seem to be getting a ton of picks, save for the Sploosh here bringing down the Nautilus. But they don't have much time left. Someone's gonna need to make a move quickly, and it looks like we might be seeing that here as more members of Big Nuts make it into mid.
Yeah, now they do have that power clam on their side as well. They don't have anything other than that. Actually, they have another 10 on them. I'm not too sure if that's the pity or something else. Yeah, they have 2 clams there. Unfortunately, both holders are going to go down. So long as EggSync is able to actually camp these out and let them reset, that is going to be the game for them in their favor. Yeah, they just were not able to make another clam in time, so that ended the game for them. No overtime. So honestly, I'm kind of surprised they won on such a small lead of 50.
Definitely. Generally, in maps like this, the games are so disjointed that leads will tend to be... Like, pushes will definitely be a whole lot bigger. But we saw that, Big Nuts, at the very end of that match, was in a very solid position to push forward and, maybe even take the lead away. But the Clash, straying off the beaten path and bringing down 2 people, might have saved the entire game there. As much as I hate to admit it, Flash Blaster can definitely catch people off guard, as it were.
Yeah, I honestly feel like there's this mentality towards it in the comp scene where you kind of see a Clash Blaster and you go, huh, really? And maybe that caught them off guard a little bit. They kind of maybe wrote it off very early on in the game, but we saw the Clash Blaster winning 1v1s versus Shockwave, who we know to be a really, really good Nautilus. It's just about knowing the angles that you can take with it and taking the right fights and picking them with your team. So tower control on Anchovy Games, do you feel like we're going to be seeing the Clash Blaster again?
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see it, because when I play comp, and if there's one place, or mode rather, where I'm going to be seeing clashes, it's going to be in tower control, although maybe that's just a sign that I'm hanging around the wrong people, but it is what it is. But I wouldn't be surprised to see it here again, basically.
Did we get the wrong map mode again? Yo, you did. Oh, no. This tournament is just going great, thank you. So,
I thought something
we were
about
talking about the wrong
weird.
map mode again. Okay, cool. So now we're actually going to Rainmaker on Starfish instead of Tower Control on Anchovy. As fun as that map mode is for Clash. Starfish main stage. I kind of like this Rainmaker map, but maybe I'm biased because I tend to win here. But I mean, now we're already getting into it. I couldn't even think about it for a second. We're actually seeing 2 kinds of Splatlings on one side. We did see that earlier, I believe, but this could work in their favor so long as they get a very good push early on, and I do think they have this pop in the bag so long as they get there quick enough. And
Definitely.
They did.
having Tri-Slosher and Nautilus as your main source of aggression is definitely interesting. Also, I want to draw attention to the Octobrush on the side of EggSync, because that is also a pretty solid map, or a solid pick for this map mode, in my opinion, like from my experience.
Yeah,
but,
honestly,
we see Big Nuts already starting to get something resembling a lead, but it can only barely be called one.
Yeah, they could choke this very early on. They are picking it right back up again, but they do need to be mindful of people who might be coming behind them and the people on the snipe. No one is really seeming to taking it yet on Big Nuts, actually.
Although we do see the Stamp trying to put some pressure on them, as well as the Hydra here, which is trying to bring down this H3 with, so far, no luck, but they are just kind of trying to stay alive and provide armor. But sadly, they will be brought down by the H3, which gets off the armor, as Shockwave is basically just trying to, like, notice any picks that he can get and just take them down. Case in point, EggSync is currently... They just went 3 down. This could definitely turn ugly fast.
Yeah,
Quickly,
it looks like they stopped the Rainmaker right at 1. That isn't the end for Rainmaker, I'm going to say it again. It never really is. It is really scary on this map mode in particular, but again, I've seen comebacks from this before. That being said, Man coming up into the base here and getting these picks, it's only Remy left who is forced to back out of the situation. There's not really much that Remy can do here anymore, so choosing to back up is, I think, the play here, especially when you have a push all the way to 1. So now they're just going to be trying to get their footing back in mid. Unfortunately, their Tri-Slosher going down at this point in time is not going to help them at all. They might have to opt into resetting just to avoid the knockout here.
And we see that that was basically a delayed wipe on the side of EggSync. When the Hydra is carrying the Rainmaker, having a Sploosh as the only thing that can really protect you, it's not necessarily a situation that you'll want to be in. But we do see that EggSync are trying to bomb out the Rainmaker, and they're making a solid effort at it, and the Octobrush trying to bring them down too. But the Hydra will bring down the Rainmaker as well, and it looks like they're going to get pop again. But it seems that there's somebody on their snipe that is currently trying to bring them down, and that's exactly what's going to happen. And
yeah.
EggSync is currently 3 down, so this might be game, and it will be.
It is. Yeah, Big Nuts 700 was really, really hungry for that knockout there, and that's kind of what they got. They never really let down pressure, despite the fact that they were going down in EggSync space. They kind of backed up when they needed to, got their jumps back in, and came right back before they were even able to reset the Rainmaker or move it back into mid or get any sort of control. So honestly, good on them for knowing how to control the game there.
Definitely, it was yeah, it was. They did make a solid effort to stop whatever pushes they were able to get off, but sadly they just applied too much pressure, I suppose.
Yeah, I think at that point in the game, there's just too much pressure applied. They could have played it a lot more safe if they wanted to, because they did have the comp to be able to back that up with having that ballpoint. However, I think they use the versatility of the ballpoint being able to move up pretty far and aggressively to their advantage here.
Absolutely. Either way, we're moving into Game 3 of the set, which is going to be Sturgeon Shipyard Splat Zones. What are your thoughts on this map mode?
I think it's kind of another slightly backline heavy map. It's not so worrying because that spinner can kind of obstruct shots, or it can be your best friend if you're a backliner. That being said, I think Shockwave is kind of going to have a bit of a field day here. It's hard for me to say without knowing these teams too well and not knowing exactly what they're going to go here. But this is a map that feeds really, really well on strong aggression. There's a lot of pinch points up into their base, so honestly, it is very fair in that aspect as well, though.
You're absolutely right. And another thing notable is that, in my mind, for me, I mainly know Sturgeon Shipyard as being amazing for Tri-Slosher most of the time, so I imagine that the combination of Remy alongside Shockwave is going to be very hard to bring down, although we did see a Tri-Slosher on the side of EggSync in the last game, so maybe it'll be pretty interesting 1v1s happening in this match, as we see the double Splatling once more, and not too much of a different comp on the side of EggSync, although we are going to see a K-Shot in place of the like an
Slosher
octave
Deco
rush.
is, Slosher Deco is one of the last things I kind of expected to see here. Not a weapon you see too much of nowadays. Very early on in the game, Eggsink unfortunately going to go one man down. That's going to be 2, and that's going to be 3. It's only going to be the Hydra left, who's just got to fend for himself, which, yeah, wasn't able to quite get out of that situation in time. That is going to be a delayed full wipe for them. Unfortunately, this shot dropping onto Remy here, which is not a position you want to be in on this map mode, and it's going to be a very, very early strong control for Big Nuts 700 here, just getting these picks in their base and not really giving them any space to breathe here. So they are going to have to come out with specials, and they're going to have to move pretty quick with it already being halfway through the timer already.
We saw them trying to rotate to come out of top left, but we saw that it appeared that Remy was already taking note of, like, oh yeah, I know you guys are going to come from there, so I'm just going to back up and wait for you to drop on me. Although, sadly, Eggsink is going to end up getting control of the zone here. Although it might be relatively short-lived, although we do see
Remy's
Remy
kind of going
going
crazy
on kind
right
of a kill
now.
streak.
Yeah, you saw him
Roughly-
take down a bunch of people. Unfortunately, he did go down in the end, but that doesn't really matter when you take out basically the entire team. That just painted the whole path for Shockwave and the other members of Big Nuts to come in to their base and try and lock them out for good this time. They are going to be able to perhaps lock... Yeah, they did... They were able to camp out Shockwave there, but that penalty is going down very quick. This could be even more points for Big Nuts 700, and it is.
It looks like we had people from Eggsink trying to get in on the left side of the map, but they would be brought down, so the only thing they really had to paint the zone on at the moment was the Hydra, and we see that they don't really have much to work with as clock goes down, so it looks like Big Nuts is going to be taking this set.
Yeah, a very, very strong, convincing game from them. Unfortunately, that was just rough that they weren't able to focus on Remy when they were coming back in. They had 3 down when they got back into zone, and it was just Remy left, but he actually did just catch out a bunch of people, and that allowed them to get that lockdown again very early on before Eggsink was able to even get their footing back in mid. So honestly, basically play of the game there for Remy.
Absolutely. We saw that Eggsink just weren't really able to get many picks at all, and that's mainly because Remy was just killing them all before they could have an opportunity to do anything. This is basically what I was talking about when I said that this was an amazing map for Try, but also keep in mind Remy's a very strong Tri-Slosher player he should definitely be paying attention to if you're not already. But, yeah, it was definitely a very strong showing, and Big Nuts is yet another team who is set to do really quite well in this tourney, so don't be surprised if you see them further on down the line.
Yeah, honestly, you could be seeing both teams later on. Of course, I do think, in my opinion, that Big Nuts has a very good chance of making it to the top 4, but we did see Eggsink take that game off of them as well, so they do have a chance as well. We've been saying this about everyone so far, but I do truly believe that both of these teams here have a really good shot at moving on, just judging by how well Big Nuts performed there and the fact that Eggsink was able to play the way they did against them. So
Absolutely, and the fact that they were able to get a game off them is commendable in its own right, so I hope they still feel accomplished leaving this set, if nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
Well, either way, I believe that's going to be the end of round 2 here. I suppose we'll just...
Yeah, we'll take a quick short break here while we wait for the last set to finish in round 2.
Definitely. So we'll be seeing you again after this brief intermission.
Welcome back. It's me. It's Siren. We're here with Riley. Hello.
Welcome back. It's Reef Rushdown, the second one. Again.
Yeah. We're coming back. We're looking at NERV again. This time they're going to be playing versus Armor Meta. Haven't seen this tournament quite. Sorry, not this tournament. This team quite yet in the tournament. But hopefully we have the right map list this time. I'm pretty sure we do. So it is going to be Splat Zones on Macomart that we're going to be starting off on pretty soon. Who do you think might have the edge here?
Well, I believe. Oh no, I was getting them mistaken with someone else. But it's really hard to say, considering, like, we've seen what NERV has to offer thus far, but we've not seen Armor Meta yet. I do not know what to expect out of this team, and I do not immediately recognize any of the players for it, so, I guess we'll just have to see. But, surely we'll be able to get a better gauge this time of what NERV is capable of, because they definitely did a very good performance in the first round. We'll definitely... Excuse me. I would not be surprised to see the Soda Slosher come back on the side of me, and I'd be excited to see because he did well with that the first time. But we're going into the match now, so I guess we'll just see.
Yeah, for sure. I guess we'll see what we see. Starting off, we are seeing pretty similar comps from earlier with NERV. We do have that heavy Splatling again, this one being the remix, which is going to be really good for the zone here since it pretty much covers the entire thing. On the other side, we're seeing a lot of vanilla weapons, which is something you don't see too often in the year of 2021, is 3 vanilla weapons. We have the mini here, the regular roller, and the regular pro. Definitely some unconventional picks at this point in the meta, but honestly, it's a pleasant sight when you do see them.
Absolutely. Generally, when you see somebody whip out a vanilla roller like that, it's somebody who has put a lot of time and devotion into the weapon, so surely you can guarantee that they probably know what they're doing, and given that they're running Ninja Squid, we're probably going to see some excellent flank action, kind of like what we're seeing right now, although they appear to have given up on that flank, although the nice splashdown here might be able to give them some control of zone briefly here.
Yeah, sadly, just though, barely capping it.
Yeah, it seemed like they were the last up to actually paint the zone. Like, they were all online to just not focus on the zone. But, we do see them here getting a kill on this, K-Pro here, and, although at the same time, it kind of puts a target on their back, because now the other team knows where they are, and, like, you can't really shark as effectively there. We see here as they're getting, pressured by 2 members of NERV right now, but, Armor Meta right now is just putting some very solid points on this board, although the zone is neutralized, and they will continue to put points on the board.
Yeah, honestly, I think the biggest struggle that roller is going to have to deal with throughout this set, and maybe just this game, is that heavy splatling. Having those point sensors is going to be the biggest pain in the butt when you're trying to shark around. NERV coming back into this, but they do have that timer still ticking down. They're going to have to cap here, and they do. They don't have a whole lot of penalty to go through before they start getting points, but they are going to have to start moving up onto Armor Meta before they can, start collecting those.
It definitely seems that they're making an effort to expand their lead on the board right now, as the K-Pro gets a nice kill on the roller with their Splat Bomb. It's currently a 3v3 situation, but we see the K Junior moving in with the bubbles here, trying to bring down someone, and it looks like they might have done that just now. They're pretty quickly coming up on the lead here, and with the Booyah Bomb, they're able to stave them off even further. And, granted, it's still a 3v3 situation, although Armor Meta is definitely making an attempt to take the zone back, but it looks like NERV is going to take lead briefly here.
A couple members of NERV trying to jump out there. Link unfortunately gets caught out in that, so it is going to be a 2-down situation. That's actually going to be 3 down. It's just going to be Tabris, who is already on the respawn. So Armor Meta does have a chance to come back here. They just need to start camping out here and trying to get the lockout at this point into the game, with only 2 minutes left and a very small margin between the two teams' points. That is going to be really important for them to camp this out. They are going 2 down, but that hasn't stopped Goiter, and he's not backing up at all. Unfortunately, with the bubbles and the Booyah coming out onto the zone, that is going to move him back a little bit, and unfortunately does get the pick on him. But the roller... coming back into zone here by himself. It's just seeming almost like a 1v1 with him and the Splash-O-Matic popping that bomb rush, trying to hold on to that zone and not accumulate any more pity at this point. They don't have much time to lose in order to get this back.
Definitely. They have a rather high penalty to get through if they want to take this lead back as Armor Meta gets control of the zone here, because we do see that Armor Meta was able to briefly steal this lead back, and we do see the, I believe that was the Splash-O-Matic get a pretty smooth kill, but sadly the roller will bring them down, and it seems that they're just kind of just trying to take down anyone they can at this moment. And they don't have much penalty left at all. Granted, they're 2 down, so taking zone back might be pretty difficult, and case in point, NERV gets it back. But if they can keep up the pressure now, like, if they can just team up and, like, work alongside this roller, they might have a shot again. And we see the super jump splash down. Sadly not able to bring anyone down, but it's definitely going to throw people off guard.
Yeah, if you're a NERV right now, your #1 priority is going to be trying to keep the paint. That's going to stop the roller from coming back in, and of course, having this much map control is going to delay Armor Meta from coming back in. That being said, it's a fight for the zone, and Armor Meta actually caps it back, resetting that pity back to 42, which is going to give NERV a very hard time here. They have to make some moves fast. There's only 15 seconds left into the game. They have to come back into this fast. That Booyah Bomb deploying onto the zone, but that's not going to cap it back in their favor. That's going to be a 3 down delayed wipe. Only Link behind them, but unfortunately going down. That is likely going to be the game for Armor Meta. There's no way they're capping here, and that is going to be the end of the game with only a 1-point lead. That has got to feel really, really good for Armor Meta, and maybe not so good for NERV.
Definitely, but they did make a very strong effort. Although, you probably wouldn't expect a weapon like Hero Roller to thrive so well in zones right here, but Mako Mart is not a terrible map for it by any means. But, it's just not necessarily something you'd expect, but you like to see it get pulled off efficiently.
Yeah, 100%. That was a really, really, really close game for them. Honestly surprised that it went in the outcome that it was, but I think just in that situation, Armor Meta somehow had an easier time with the lockdown. I think ultimately what it came down to was just that we saw some really good plays coming out of the roller there, taking full advantage of the map that they were holding.
Absolutely. It looks like for Game 2 here, we'll be moving on to tower control on Piranha Pit. Now, what do you have to say about this particular map mode, if any?
I'm honestly surprised to see it. I think it's been a very long time since I've seen this map mode being played in tournament. Ultimately, this it's a tricky one in my opinion. It doesn't feel like a lot of weapons particularly have much of an advantage. I think rollers do have, not rollers, buckets have kind of a good time here just because of how vertical it can be, and that being said, we're not seeing a single bucket. However, I think Link picking that brush there is ultimately actually a very good pick as well. He's going to be playing it very aggressively here, moving up onto the shooters, but unfortunately does go down in the process. However, that is going to be a 1 down on each team situation here, and kind of just a bloodbath in mid. It seems like they can't really get a man advantage on either side at this point in the game.
Yeah, we do see them bring the Vanilla Roller back out. In fact, I believe they swapped from Vanilla Pro to Kensa Pro, and aside from that, it's the same comp. I mean, they were able to make it work the first time. Double Booyah is not terrible for tower control by any means, because now they have a lot of like ability to stop the tower should things go awry. But we see that Armor Meta was able to get a bit of a lead going here, but it looks like NERV is starting to get some picks off, and they might be able to. Well, I say that, and then they go 3 down, but still, they might all the time, every time. It looks like Armor Meta is going to be expanding their lead here.
Yeah, just capitalizing on that full wipe there. Slop going to be popping this Booyah Bomb and kind of just tossing it into their base, slowing them down, allowing them to get this checkpoint, and now they're just going to be trying to camp out their ramps from either direction here. 1 going down, but that isn't slowing them down quite yet. 2 going down, still they're riding this tower, and actually a couple picks coming out of Slop here. That is going to help them out a lot. They're getting back onto this tower and just getting as many points as they can before this push dies off. Getting it all the way to 46 is nothing to scoff at right now, just because those that first checkpoint can be a bit of a pain in the butt since it's right in front of your teammates. Sorry, the other team's drop. So having that is really, really good for them at this point in the game. But it's nothing they can really just stand around and wait to defend at this point.
Exactly, but if they're able to... Not to mention, it's going to be rather difficult for them to expand upon this, considering they still have a whole checkpoint to get through, for that matter. But we see that NERV are going to get some points on the board here, and they do have the Inkjet and Booyah Bomb at the ready. They will be popping the Inkjet and the Booyah Bomb, such as that, in order to fend off armor meta for a bit here. Although the Tenta missiles are going to bring down the 96 on the side of NERV, so their push might get a little, or might be short-lived, but it looks like armor meta did a good job of responding to what NERV were pulling out here.
Yeah, Goiter moving up into mid here. It looks like they did have a bit of a man advantage for a second there, but now the brush going to be dropping down into mid. Armor meta does have a bit of room to kind of wiggle around and wait for specials, which is exactly what was able to stop them when NERV was pushing in. They were almost mirroring the exact same push that armor meta did earlier in the game with the Booyah Bomb in the exact same spot. That being said, NERV just gets an entire full wipe on an armor meta here, so this could be that first checkpoint choke area for them very cleanly. They don't have any checkpoints in the way anymore, so this can be the lead for them. They just need to be able to get through this area here in that little tight corner. With 3 going down again, with them just being in their spawn, that is definitely going to be the lead for them for sure.
We see the K-Pro here. They were beginning to try and flank from the choke area. Well, I guess you could very slightly call it a flank, but sadly they'll be brought down. We see the roller here is just going to stay on tower, and they're just kind of... like, excuse me, we see the 96 here just trying to pressure tower and anyone near it. The roller is going to just still stay on tower, but sadly they'll be brought down by this K-Pro. Still though, while NERV has the man advantage, it's still basically anyone's game in mid right now, although it looks like armor meta is getting another push here briefly, as NERV will go 2 down. And this Booyah Bomb might not be able to do much to stop them, aside from bringing down the K-Pro here on the side of NERV. Yeah, actually, we're seeing Slop here pushing up all the way onto their side here. They are going to be fighting back for that 1-point lead, something we're seeing again from both games. That Booyah Bomb saving him very narrowly from the Booyah Bomb on the other team, but nobody's on the tower right now. They need to get back onto that and watch out for Link, who's behind them. It's only going to be Woomer here, and he's in this 1v1. Unfortunately, a 2v1. They're going to be jumping in desperately, but I think they need to be playing even a little bit more patiently. They still have 20 seconds to get back on that tower, so these jump-ins aren't helping them very much. Just getting back into this side here, Link is just going to be camping under this drop side here. They're going to do whatever they can to stop them from getting onto this tower and doing anything with it. However, I think NERV here is just handling the situation a lot better. They're kind of just waiting for armor meta to come into them. Wow, okay, so they do take the game just by that 1-point lead. Just a common theme that's been going through this set is just these 1-point leads and overtime. So very close set so far. This third game is going to be the deciding factor on who gets the overall set, but honestly, a very good game from both teams. You can see a lot more splats coming from NERV, which is kind of surprising with how close the outcome was. Yeah, 17 KA with the K-Pro is definitely nothing to sneeze at, and I now realize we were seeing double Booyah from both teams, and in that case, Booyah pretty much completely saved the game for NERV there.
Oh yeah.
You do, but it is worth noting, in the case of armor meta with a roller, it's a bit of an awkward weapon because you can't just slot it into any comp, but their comp does work quite well with roller because they have enough paint to work with it, and if you pair up to where like you allow the roller to do their thing, you can get a lot done here. But if the 1-point leads in these 2 games is any indication, then this next one will probably be quite scary to watch, for lack of a better. We're going into a Clan Blitz on Muscle Forge Fitness here.
Yikes. This map mode is something I have a lot of mixed feelings about myself. It's very choky, and then it's also very flank heavy. There's literally only 2 routes to take a power clam, and it's either you go all the way around from that flank area, or you have to cross that bridge, which doesn't really leave you with an inkable surface, and that's very far kind of into the enemy base. So it can be really, really tough moving up, and it can also be equally as hard defending if you're facing a flank at the exact same time. So coordination is going to be key for either of these teams at this point in time, and I think whatever determines it here is going to be that exactly.
Absolutely, because if you have two people directly under the basket, but like having one or two people at the elbow, it's definitely a lot to take in and properly bring down. But we're going into this game. We're seeing double booyah from both sides once again, alongside a Kensa Mini. Sadly, they've traded in the roller for what appears to be a junior on the... Or, no. Okay, well, the roller has gone away, but armor meta is not... My point is, Kensa Mini, not a weapon you see a whole lot, but it's definitely an interesting pick.
I honestly love the Kensa Mini.
It needs more love. But we see that NERV is going to go 2 down here, and armor meta has pretty much entire control of mid, save for a little bit here, but the junior is doing what they can to deal with that. They do have a lot of clams right now, and it looks like they're beginning that push with the Booyah Bomb, and they have armor to push in if they want to. It just doesn't seem like everyone is exactly on the same page just yet. Sadly, the K-Gal is going to go down, but they could still get this clam in if they want to. Sadly, though, 2 members of armor meta are going to go down, and it looks like Tabris here is just kind of waiting for opportunity to really push into mid and bring some more people down.
Yeah, honestly, losing your power clam onto that bridge here is one of the most devastating things that can happen on Muscle Forge clams, just because of the fact that it's going to be extremely hard to retrieve. The enemies are going to be camping it as much as possible, and it's not on a surface you can ink either. That being said, 3 people going down onto the side of NERV, that it should be able to open up a push for them. They do have 18 clams, but they're all pretty evenly dispersed. They are going to get a power clam together, but I think the one person holding it is the one who did go down there. Woomer going to be alone there on the snipe, and unfortunately getting picked off by the heavy, but they are maybe facing, no, they were going to face a flank, but I think they had to either back out of that or they got spotted out. Either way, that push is over. Very unfortunate for armor meta there. It's looking like they had it, but unfortunately not.
Definitely. But it's a very neck-and-neck battle for mid right now, as we see. It's just a constant 3v3, although we do see somebody on the elbow here able to open up the basket and initiate a push for armor meta, although aside from this neat stamp kill just now, doesn't seem like they have a lot to work with here, although they are going to expand it a little bit. It's going to be, although two are going to go down for armor meta, so it doesn't seem like they'll be able to do much else here, but it was definitely a pretty good push.
Armor meta doing a really, really good job there of distracting that heavy from the primary purpose of it being their farthest back line there. So having him distracted and focusing on the person behind them was allowing them to literally just hold forward on that bridge and allowed them to take that snipe, which is a great push for them. Only getting down to 62 because I don't know if they were quite anticipating it as much as before. However, that's, you know, I have a feeling that this game might be one of those ones where people barely get a chance to push.
Yeah, although we do see the K Junior here with the this way as they get the bubbles off. And sadly, they're the last alive, though. It seemed like they were in a good position to get some points on the board, but Link is being forced to jump out, and he does
Yeah, he does actually get the chance to jump to one of his teammates, which does allow them to hold on to those clams without them, you know, despawning once you get to that spawn pad, which is good for them. However, looking from this top view here, armor meta having most of the map control here should allow them to push in a bit. They are holding on to 22 clams. That will allow them to get a bit of a push here if they're able to keep up this momentum. It is only going to be the junior though, so only extending their lead by a little bit, but however, that is still going to help them a lot more in the end. Worth noting as well, though, with 1 minute left, they did just give the enemy team a pity clam doing that, but I think in the end, having more points is going to be helpful in this situation here where NERV gets back in and is able to make their own push.
Absolutely, as my stream dies very briefly. Sorry about that, I wasn't really able to see much. But it does seem that NERV does still have a lot of control over, They do go one down, though, but it's yet another 3v3, and those who are online have specials up. They are going to get off the bubbles. Sadly, though, NERV doesn't really have enough clams to make much of a push here, although Kijaz is going to get, a nice
Oh, this
pick
could be
off,
the lead.
but-
He's jumping in with the power clam. It's going to go down to 66.
Oh, you're right.
Oh, no!
And he
Oh my
gets
God!
it off!
Yeah, he gets it through that. He goes through the splash wall somehow with the power clam. That is going to be a lead, but this might go actually into overtime for them. It just depends. Looks like, yeah, the ball is going to drop from that net there. So they do have overtime, but they have to move very, very fast. It will go down to 51 if they get this in. So it's very important right now that NERV guards their basket like it's a child. They cannot get flanked right now, and they don't have too much time. With that Booyah Bomb coming out, though, this could be it.
NERV just needs to not go down at all. But
They
sadly,
ran out of time.
Exactly. Very unfortunate. I gotta say, though, NERV, it was basically all down to NERV not dying pointlessly, and they were able to hang on and bring them all down. But we see how evenly matched this, close this match was. We were looking at relatively even KAs from both sides. But my point is, NERV did a really good job of just surviving in a tough spot there, because your average person probably wouldn't be able to, keep just as calm with that much pressure, so it was a very nice attempt.
Yeah, honestly, a really good attempt from both teams there. Kind of like I assumed, there wasn't much push from either team. NERV only getting one push, and that's really all they needed to win the game there. Just one half-decent push, and then there was two smaller ones coming out of Armor Meadow, which unfortunately just wasn't enough, having to get through that penalty and burn through it a second time. I think cost them the game there.
Yeah, strangely enough, it doesn't seem like it was... It was a very close game, just like the other ones in the set, just not quite in the way we expected. But either way, it was definitely a solid showing from both teams. It was nice to see NERV once again, as they just put on a very solid performance, so hats off to them.
Hats off to them. I do believe we have a couple things to go through as far as some IPL related content. Do you want to take care of that, Riley?
Sure thing. So, IPL currently has staff applications open. We're going to be looking for additions to our production and commentary teams. We're always looking for additions to those, so if you're interested in helping out in any of these areas, please fill out the form. The link will be in the description very shortly. And if you're interested in more than one area, you can fill out the form multiple times if you'd like. Furthermore, Swimmer Sync 23. This will be the last Swimmer Sync of March, and it's fastly approaching. Its format is going to be groups into single elimination brackets, and every team that participates will be making a bracket. So feel free to check out IPL's weekly tournament series. It's going to be every Wednesday at 8 p.m. EDT. The link to that is also going to be in the description, or the
chat, yes.
The chat, no, momentarily, yeah. Yeah. And furthermore, it's, if you'd like to donate to a future IPL prize pool, the link to that will be in the chat also. I almost said description again. Very good. But, yeah, that's all the stuff we really had to plug for this moment in time, so...
Yeah, I think we're going to be taking a quick break again, just as the round finishes. We're just waiting on a couple of sets to finish up here, but once they do, we will be back with round 4.
So we'll see you again soon, right after this.
Welcome back. To Reef Rushdown. We're going back in a round 4. We're gonna be spectating this time 3 black men and an Indian versus Gay Gang. Both very fascinating team names here. I think most North American players will probably recognize some of the members of the former team, not the latter. I don't even know if I want to say that one again. I'm not too familiar with the other team. Do you know anything about them, Riley?
I do know a few members of Gay Gang, namely Hubert, for mainly being my team's coach, as well as Popcorn.
Yeah, actually, I think I
recently he recently played in testing grounds with Domo, I believe, and he used to be a really notable comp player, alongside Hubert for that matter, but they're coming off of hiatus, which is something you always love to see. And also Axis, obviously from Priority, very prolific, like, high-level comp player who's H3 player.
You know, it's really exciting seeing all these teams coming back, or rather players coming back from retirement after the announcement of Splatoon 3. It's one of the things you kind of get excited to see for, just to name a few, like the ones on this team. So honestly, good to see. Getting into this first game, it's going to be tower control on the Reef. I'm not really sure what to expect out of this matchup here. I think it could go either way. However, we'll see what both teams are running here.
Yeah, this is always very, just really standard, balanced map mode that you tend to see. But we are going to be seeing a Rapid Blaster Pro Deco from Brandon here on the side of 3 black men. This alongside Zap, I believe, is really a really solid double armor option here. It really fulfills the backline role without necessarily being one, because it has so much range and it just has a really nice kit for the weapon. But we do see that Gay Gang is going to take control of Bridge and get the first push off here. They're putting quite a lot of pressure here on 3 black men as they take out the CDS on the side of, yeah. And Bankroll here is just kind of pushing forward with the Neo Splash. He's able to bring down someone else. Sadly, he's going to go down here as 3 black men get off armor and are just, like, they severely outnumber him right now. So it looks like if 3 black men are able to push ahead, they might be able to take the lead. Like, they might be able to take the lead to themselves, because 61 is it's not a terribly safe lead by any.
Yeah, having that first checkpoint is great, but that is definitely not something that's going to be game-winning at all. Getting back into this here, they are going to pop a Stingray here, which is going to move random off of that tower there. So he's just going to be trying to bounce on and off of that tower just to prevent that checkpoint from resetting, which is good for them. They do eventually get through it, and it's likely going to be the lead here so long as Rhythm is able to hold on to that bomb rush near the tower. Popcorn and Ace, though, coming around and picking both of them off. That is going to be a 3-down situation for them, forcing that Rapid to back up onto the side of 3 black men. Bankroll going to be moving up here onto that left side here. It's popping that bomb rush very early on, just applying a whole lot of pressure onto this left side of the map here, while their teammates move up on the front. So putting Gay Gang in a bit of a tough spot here. Going to be reclaiming that lead there, getting into the 50s, but I'm not too sure if they're going to be able to clear this checkpoint at this point in the game.
Yeah, it looks like Rhythm's in a very solid position. He's able to bring down Bankroll and just further pressure into their street from there. Eclipse here trying to maintain control of bridge, and I realize now that he's playing VDS, which in itself, point sensor is never really something you want to have on you. It's like the mildest of mild annoyances, and also Tenta missiles are solid to have on this map. But we see Ray and Armor coming out from the side of Gay Gang, and no one has gone down yet, but it really looks like... Oh, and now we see a 2-down situation for 3 black men. And it doesn't look like Gay Gang is really able to get into mid and further this push at all, but surely we can see that soon. Although it appears that Eclipse is trying to pull off a flank right now, but it's unclear how successful that's being, as Bankroll's able to get another pick.
Yeah, kind of taking back, it's been a bit of a neutral game right now. Neither team able to really get much control over this midsection here. It's kind of been a bit neutral game here, but with that armor coming out, that should open up some opportunities for Gay Gang here to get a stronger push. That armor and the bomb rush coming out, it's going to be multiple specials pushing up onto the side of 3 black men and an Indian. Bankroll going to be moving up here onto that left side here, going to try and spot out anyone, but it looks like most people from the side of 3 black men are actually prioritizing the bridge at this point in the game, which is something you don't totally expect when the enemies are pushing up into their base with specials, but it looks like it did work out for them in their favor. Rhythm moving up here onto the other side, exactly what we just saw coming out of Bankroll, just from his side, the bomb rush onto this top left here, the exact same push, but however, they're going about this in a different way. Winning that 1v1 versus Ace, that's going to help them a lot here. 2 down, but it is a Stingray, so that will stop whoever's on the tower, at least momentarily. But with the Charger going down, this is going to be probably the lead for them. Getting past this checkpoint is going to be integral.
Definitely. Rhythm might not have been directly involved in the action by tower, but his positioning is definitely on point. He was putting a ton of pressure onto Gay Gang, despite being relatively, like, separate from it all. But the burst bomb launcher, in addition to the armor, was definitely very nice. But we do see that the junior on the side of Gay Gang is currently down, as we see Bankroll trying to get a kill on this VDS here. As everyone else tries to get back into control of mid, but Eclipse is gonna... Like, 3 black men and an Indian currently have full control of the bridge, and there's not much time in this game left, although it looks like 3 black men are able to get an armor off, but it appears that they are currently 1 down, although they do get a pick on Eclipse here, and they're actually going 2 down, so if they can keep it up, and if Bankroll can get the kill on this Rapid Blaster, they might be able to take the lead here.
Yeah, we actually saw a jump out there, and they knew where the end zap was, so they were able to take them out. It is just going to be 10 points, but Popcorn does go down on the tower, so Bankroll does have to back up here. It's not many points. They're down to 29 right now. Just one of them has to get on the tower, but unfortunately, they hop on before anyone else can get back on, and that is going to end the game in overtime in the favor of 3 black men and an Indian.
It's very unfortunate. It seemed like Ace was just in a 1v3 situation there on the tower. That was a very close game, though. You can see that these are 2 very strong teams, or at least very evenly matched teams.
Yeah, you saw a lot of the same pushes and exact same patterns being kind of mirrored on either side. We saw both bomb rushes coming out onto that left side whenever they were pushing. It was almost weird. It was like a deja vu moment, seeing Bankroll pop that bomb rush onto their car, and then immediately, like literally 10 seconds after, Rhythm's on their side doing the exact same thing. Just having it work out better for 3 black men and an Indian in the end. And I think that actually could have gone to Gay Gang. I do believe it was a bit of an unfortunate death for the person who was on the tower at the time. He kind of just died a little bit randomly there, and unfortunately that did end up going to them in the end, which is unfortunate because it did look like they were set up to win that.
Absolutely, but either way, it's a very... You could see that they were both, like, they really wanted to win this set, and it was very strong performance from both teams. We're going to be going into Splat Zones on Piranha Pit, though, which is yet another relatively... I feel like, similar to Tower Reef, this is relatively common map mode in tourneys, at least the ones that I tend to see. What do you have to say about this?
I think this is going to be a really, really strong map mode for Rhythm in particular. Rhythm is someone who I know to be a bit of a bucket main. Piranha Pit Zones in particular does have a lot of vertical importance to it, so having the conveyors controlled and in your favor is very, very, very important for this map mode. Once you sort of have those, you can kind of control the zones however you want. So honestly, whoever is able to control the verticality of the map is going to do the best here. And I do think that 3 black men and an Indian have kind of the understanding of what they're going to have to do here to get that.
Absolutely. Either way, looking at the comps here, 3 black men and an Indian have traded in the CDS or the VDS for the CDS rather. And aside from that, though, it's the exact same comp with the double armor core and rhythm on the Soda Slosher. We see the K-Shot and Firefin. It's a very well-balanced comp coming out from the side of Gay Gang here, and they are going to get the... they're going to bring down 2 of the members of 3 black men and an Indian, and get the lead to start off this game.
Yeah, Ace honestly getting some really good picks at the very beginning of that game and is looking to sort of continue that kill streak here, just sort of camping up in their zone, trying to wait out their specials. Looks like they're popping an armor very early on here, but the Slosher going down through that. So now 2 of the members here, Bankroll and Ace, going to push up on that rapid, getting that pick there, just leaving that Soda Slosher and the CDS, and unfortunately it's just going to be the Soda Slosher. It's only Rhythm who's going to be left here, leaving Gay Gang another opportunity to just sort of try and lock them out again. And the 3 black men and Indian are going to have to move pretty quickly here because they did just burn all their specials trying to do that there.
Absolutely. Although it does seem like Gay Gang is trying to get the zone back, and they do get it off. Brandon here is going to get swarmed by this K-Shot, although they do get off the armor, but sadly it doesn't save them in time. 3 black men and Indian is currently 2 down once more, and they don't have much time left. Although the zone is currently in neutral, it looks like they're trying to cap it, but they are able to get it. That's going to be game 2 to Gay Gang. You could tell that that was considerably less, like, evenly matched than the other game that we just saw. You could tell that they were ready to come back after how close that last game was. So it was a very just...
Yeah, I'm
strong.
Honestly, like, I'm a little bit surprised that 3 black men and an Indian didn't really adapt as much to match splat zones on Piranha Pit. I don't know if I necessarily would have gone for that comp in particular, considering the fact that it is a kind of a difficult map to take control of zone. You kind of want more specials that are oriented towards holding the zone or capping it quickly because of that. And we saw double armor and a bomb rush, and then what was the last one? I forgot already.
Inkstorm with the CDS.
Inkstorm, yeah. So that's not really, none of those are really insta cap aside from that bomb rush if you're able to get that out. And still, with the way they were running things, you want to use that special for the offense instead of objective. So that kind of put them in a tough situation because once they kind of got locked out, they weren't really able to buy themselves more time by having any sort of specials that would let them get the objective easier. So they kind of cut themselves a bit of a challenge where their comp was better on the offense, but as far as the game mode went, they weren't really able to hold on to that, and I think that's where they struggled the most there.
Absolutely. You might want to... They didn't really have much in terms of painting special outside of the Burst Rush. But either way, we're going into Rainmaker Humpback Pump Track. This could extremely, like more so than basically any other map mode, go to either team here. This is a very cheese-heavy map, as I've joked about before. But we see that Rhythm has swapped out the Soda Slosher for the K-Machine. And aside from that, they're sticking with the same core. Gay Gang is going to go 2 down, though, sadly. But it looks like 3 black men are going to get this first push off.
Yeah, moving up here pretty early on. They really only had like one special going into that to begin with, and that is going to slow them down a little bit. The fact that Random did have to drop back into mid there, but they haven't been able to drop the Rainmaker yet. However, one of them coming up behind as the shot. It's just going to be a 1v1 here. It's just going to be the Junior versus the Machine, and the Junior actually winning that 1v1. I think Rhythm was a little bit weak already. However, that is going to stop their push at 40, which honestly, it's Humpback Punch Track. That is not enough. So I think there's definitely going to be some sort of comeback here from Gay Gang at some point. They've already gotten 2 picks, so probably looking to be picking up this Rainmaker here as soon as they can pop it. Popcorn probably going to be picking it up since they just popped that armor. Moving up here already past the 70 mark. They are probably going to be getting the lead here. Multiple people just going down as time progresses here.
And I do notice now that neither team has a Stingray or a Booyah Bomb or anything that can really easily stop this Rainmaker push, aside from just their own main weapons, which is what just happened. But we do see Gay Gang indeed taking the lead, and by a pretty decent amount, and able to further expand upon it. And 3 black men are currently 2 down, so, although now Gay Gang also go 2 down. But we see the K-Shot here flanking, and he's able to bring down another member.
Bankroll, just
yet
going
another.
This has got to be a clip for later for this
Holy.
guy. He is just I think that had to be at least a 5-man in their base. I think honestly that play just won them the game there. Just nonstop, they were not able to dislodge him from that pedestal area, and just with the distraction and the attention away from the Rainmaker was allowing them to pick that up and get that knockout there. Which honestly, insane gameplay from Bankroll.
Absolutely, that was a showstopper of a performance. I hope he feels well and proud as a result of that. 10 KA in that short amount of time. Very much hats off to him. Although, as we've established, they were very evenly matched teams in terms of skill. But still, that was a very... It was a very strong performance between the 2 games. It definitely shows that, like, you know, just because you're coming off of something resembling a hiatus doesn't mean that, like, you know, they still got it in.
What I kind of noticed from 3 black men and an Indian in this set in particular was I feel like they picked a comp and they wanted to stick with it, and they didn't really change it very much. And I think that kind of punished them a little bit in zones other than tower control, because I think their specials and their kind of coordination really helped them in that map mode in particular. But I think it doesn't really lend a hand so much to modes like Rainmaker and Splat Zones, kind of like what I elaborated on a little bit with that Splat Zones game. But the same thing goes for Rainmaker, kind of like what you said. They didn't have like a Ray or a Booyah or really anything to stop them. So just having Bankroll and nothing to get rid of him just, I think, cost them the game there.
Exactly. It's like neither team had those things, but when you have a frontliner like Bankroll who can just shut things down, absolutely, like he did, you don't need it. Like, you can't really pin him down that easily. It didn't seem like 3 black men had that source of just straight up raw aggression. The closest thing is the K-Machine, or maybe the NZAP if you want to call it that, but it might be a bit of a stretch, honestly, to call it that, but it just couldn't stand up to his K-Shot, sadly.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. With that being said, that is going to be the end of us for round 4. Moving on to round 5, you will have a different set of commentators who will be here for the rest of the tournament. I just want to thank you so much again for having me for the second Reef Rushdown. And do you have anything to say, Riley?
No, but it was really nice to commentate this tourney once again. I say like I did the first time, which I didn't. Yeah, why don't you plug yourself or something? I don't know.
Yeah. On Twitter and Twitch, I am Siren Bonchi. I think I've had my @ on screen. I think you can also get it if you do !Mike. You'll see both of our @s. Come watch my streams. Come follow me on Twitter. Something, blah, blah, blah. I'm a free agent. Look at my free agent profile. Please do.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, you can find me on Twitter @BuffSplashdown, which please do. And I'm on Twitch @Riley vs. the Blade, but I haven't streamed since 2018, but maybe someday. But yeah, give my Twitter a look at, looking at. I'm funny sometimes. It's great.
Yay.
But either way, thank you very much for watching the tournament thus far. That's going to be the end of the line for me and Siren here. So thank you for watching, and have a great rest of your evening.
See ya.
Hello and welcome back to Reef Rushdown number 2. We are your new commentators for the 5th round and then the top cut shortly afterwards. I am Yesone and I am joined by Crystal.
Hello.
How are we doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I am doing excellently. This is a very exciting day of Splatoon, so I'm ready to see some more Reef Rushdown.
Yeah, definitely.
So just looking at the standings thus far. Oh, actually, you know what? Let's just go right into the match that we're going to be watching. This is a round 5 match. We're going to be watching Thembo IHOP versus Egg Sink. I love their name and icon. It's kind of wonderful.
Yeah, they do look really pretty. Do you know any
And
of
we
these
had a
people?
few fast food teams as well this week. I think there was, at some point at least, they may not be here anymore, but at some point there was a Taco Bell.
Oh yeah,
So
Yeah,
some
definitely.
coordination going on there for sure. Now
great
I
names.
don't recognize either of these teams. Although EggSync, I should. I feel like I should. I don't though. Do you know any of these players?
Yeah, no, I'm not too familiar with these people.
Okay. Well, it is a Swiss standings, so just looking at it, these are some of our lower seed teams in the tournament. We're going to get to see something fun, maybe a bit chaotic. When teams are near the bottom, they're usually trying something different and special. And we're going to be going into Clan Blitz Mako Mart, which is always a chaotic time, so I'm ready for the chaos to begin.
Yeah, definitely. Very excited.
Okay. Well, we don't have to wait any longer. We have our two teams raring to go here. Thembo, IHOP. I'm probably just gonna say IHOP and Egg. That's gonna be a lot easier.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's see what we've got. Run us through the weapons.
Yeah, so on the side of I think that's Egg Sink, we've got a Hydra and a Sploosh with Hammer there. The Luna's just pushing them back into their spawn and taking that high ground there, pushing the charger back to their little position, and does get a trade there.
The very aggressive play from the Luna. They were able to really push the opponent team back earlier. Unfortunately, there's not too many clams to show for it, and they're going to need a bit of special coordination if they're going to actually reach that basket. We have the Ultra Stamp coming out early. This is the opening they need. Let's see if they can capitalize.
Yeah, definitely. We see the ends up here just shocking. His teammates dead, just getting a pick here. They've managed to score.
Ooh, I was going to say, the NTAP doing some nice strategic play, waiting for EggSync to open the basket before shutting down the push, but unfortunately for them, quite a few clams have gone in regardless, and they've let fly a few more points than they were probably hoping. IHOP are going to have to work quite hard to establish control over mid now.
Yeah, definitely. We notice they have a clam here, and they're pushing again, but they do manage to miss here, unfortunately having to retreat so they don't get splattered.
EggSync, yeah, not quite able to make that one happen. They've lost that power clam as well. So the clam advantage now goes to IHOP. They just need to be able to open up the mid here. They're having a bit of trouble finding a path through, especially with the aggression that we're seeing from... I mean, look at that, just rolling in with, I believe that was a brush of some sort.
Yeah, using the bull as protection, just trying to rush in and get that paint and ground there so they could get some clams in.
Mon is just absolutely tearing up the opponent's defensive line. No one on IHOP feels confident enough to move forward just because there's always a Lunar Blaster in their face. They've got the Hydra pushing forward now as well. This comp is incredibly aggressive. I imagine this playstyle hasn't been working for them thus far in the tournament, but it's really coming into its own now.
Yeah, definitely. We see the Hydra here on his own, just trying to defend all four of them here, as they got wiped out.
Yeah, using that Inkling is a nice
ready
spacer.
as
That
well,
will keep them
yeah.
up and going. And the Ink Arm is coming out now as well. They are only 2 up, so this looks like a good scoring opportunity for IHOP.
Yeah, unfortunately, we do see that K-Shot go down though. But they do manage to score, and Pop Baller here, trying to defend the opponent from scoring even more.
2 power clams and some change at the moment. It's not a score to laugh at. And the last power clam comes in with the jump, but they are 1 shy of taking the lead. That's gotta sting. 2 minutes left and they will have a hefty penalty to work through now because they couldn't get that last clam in time.
Yeah, that is a hefty tie right there.
It's not impossible of a task. It's 2 power clams in one go, and we've seen that they can already coordinate to get those points in, but it's not like EggSync are going to be stopping anytime soon. They're going to go for it as well. opening up the basket there with one power clam jumping in as well. They've copied the opponent's strategy, and it's worked brilliantly. And if they can get these last 7 clams in, they will have a knockout victory, though I don't think the Sploosh is gonna quite make it in time. No, they've had to play defensively at the back there, so that is going to just be a little bit more of a score increase, pushing it slightly further out of IHOP's reach. And only a minute left.
Yeah, definitely. We see the hammer coming into play here, but unfortunately does not work out for them as they do get taken out by the K-shot there. They do manage to take a score here and trying to get that penalty off and score even further. We do see the 17 here, but they unfortunately don't manage to get any clams in to lower that score.
Yeah, that was actually a concerning push. Eggsink getting that single dunk in there didn't actually increase their score, but did give the opponent an extra power clam to play with. In these closing 30 seconds, a few power clams can really mean the difference.
Yeah, definitely. We noticed 3 power clams on the side of purple here.
Okay, IHOP, 20 seconds to make something happen. They're playing nice and defensively. They want to get some picks before they roll out. Echo on the K-shot running away from that Ultra Stamp and getting away successfully. They've got special ready. It won't quite open up the basket on its own, but with enough coordination and a drive down the center, they can get these power clams to where they need to be. They get a key pick on the Hydra. That's a good start. The jumps are coming in. One of them jumps the wrong way.
One of them scores, yeah.
Power clam 2, it's in. Power clam 3, it's in.
Did manage to take the lead there. Very
Absolutely.
cool.
They probably could have done it a bit faster if they hadn't jumped to the wrong location. That was a bit terrifying, but fortunately one of them managed to sneak their way around the back and provide a jump point for all 3 power clams. Eggsink probably regretting that last minute dunk now.
Yeah, definitely. That was a really close game.
For sure, to come around in overtime like that, I was very surprised to see IHOP with that level of steely reserve. They were able to hang back despite the opponent's constant pressure and pushes. And they picked their moment during overtime, which is something that a lot of teams don't really have the self-control for, if you will. So it's really good to see that IHOP have some good strategic minds sitting on their back line.
Yeah, definitely. Now we notice that we have the next map with Sturgeon Shipyard on Rainmaker. What are your thoughts
I do
on
like
this
this
map?
one.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The fun thing
Charges
about
and
Rainmaker
racing
Sturgeon
crucial.
is... Yeah, absolutely. There are so many paths to attack on this one. There are 4 distinct paths that you can push the Rainmaker, arguably 5. They all kind of bottleneck in a similar area, but it's impossible to cover all of those paths. You only have 4 players after all. So if you can play very aggressively, you can absolutely take your opponent by surprise on this map.
Yeah, definitely. Team coordination is vital in this map. Practically, like you said, you have 4 different areas that people and your opponent can score from, and you need to make sure you have all of those defended at all times, because as you know with Rainmaker, anything can happen.
100%. It is such a turbulent mode. We've got a lot of people in chat standing Thembo IHOP. So, shout out to you, chat. Thembo IHOP definitely got 1 point on the board. Let's see if they can get another.
And we do see that Ray we were talking about earlier, I believe. That is the Ray version.
Absolutely, that is the Sea-Jet with the Ray. It's almost expected on this mode, just because there are so many places you can reach with that Ray, and so many thin paths you can shut down. So it's a very good pick for this map.
Yeah, definitely. We noticed that blue side gets the pop here, and they pop that hammer again, trying to get people. They do manage to get 1 person here, and they're pushing forward to that Sea-Jet we talked about earlier.
Yeah, and that Sea-Jet has the Jet Ray to go as well. They're probably going to back off here and prepare the Stingray while the rest of their team locks down the hatches. In fact, yeah, we're going to see them jump out to do exactly that. Ray in 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, definitely.
and
they
shuts
do
down the
manage to
Rainmaker.
coordinate that Ray with the missiles there. Getting that Rainmaker. There's one shocking here with the Sploosh, and they do manage to trade with that Sea-Jet.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think this push is going to amount into too much more. That Eggsink have gone for the pickup regardless, and extended their score by a little bit. But I'd be wary about trying to push this one too much more, considering the entirety of Thembo IHOP are in position to shut this one down.
Yeah, definitely. We noticed that Hydra was on the grate there, but unfortunately gets taken out with being a 4v1 here. they pop armor and they're combining it with an inkjet here, which is a very powerful move.
Yeah, that's a pseudo wipe there. They're only going to have one defender pushing them down back here, but that one defender does the job. They're able to shut them down entirely. T-Tech does go down eventually, but a very critical splat, having stopped the Rainmaker twice there. Very, very helpful to keeping that scoreline, which is currently razor thin.
Yeah, definitely. You can't have such a lead with Rainmaker. And here we notice the Hydra taking the high ground, but falls down here and gets the T-Tech, and gets someone with fall-off damage here as well.
That was a lovely set of shots. Absolutely brilliant. They're able to open up the line now for Tokos, but we see that Stingray coming out yet again. No doubt which weapon that's come from. That Jet playing their role perfectly in this match. If they can keep that up, they should be able to get themselves another opportunity to push and potentially steal that lead.
Yeah, definitely. You notice they pop armor here as well, and they're trying to just make that Rainmaker reset. They're not too interested in pushing right now, but in fact they actually do manage to pick the Rainmaker here, and the hammer is just causing trouble and chaos in the middle section there.
They do eventually go down, but yeah, that Ultra Stamp is making it so dangerous for the members of Thembo IHOP to move around mid. None of the players can really get set up, especially because we have two very good flanking weapons on that team. Not having that certainty that you'll be okay because there could be an Ultra Stamp around the corner. Really a worrying factor that you have to take into account.
Yeah, definitely. We notice it's a 4 versus 2 here, and they're pushing the same way we've seen them push many times, with the raid just trying to give them extra support, but unfortunately their positioning here is just vital, and they're trying to get around that raid that really stings.
Yeah, Thembo IHOP definitely have a preferred method of pushing. They're trying for it a third time here, but they will actually be able to get the lead this time. There's a reason that this is the favorite method of a lot of people, and it's because you can get points so quickly just barreling down that narrow alleyway. It does finally work out for them, so their commitment to the strategy has paid off, and it's going to be quite difficult for EggSync to take that back in a minute 20.
Yeah, definitely. We notice the Ray here is again, although it's a 3 versus 3, I believe, and it's just stuck right there in the little pit there.
Yeah,
trying to get maneuvered out.
Case picked up the Rainmaker in an attempt to defend themselves with it. It's not the worst strategy, especially when you're only repping a melee weapon and you want to be able to shut down some extra areas without running out of ink. But unfortunately, they're not really finding any leeway out of here. Their teammates not getting the splats they need to get this Rainmaker to safety. And with that 30-second timer above that Rainmaker, you really can't... Oh, actually, as I say that, a lovely double from the Rainmaker is going to open up their options nicely.
Yeah, definitely. That sweet double there gave them a nice advantage to get out of that little alleyway they were in there. And they've pushed it and managed to make it more than halfway towards the enemy's team side of the map.
Yeah, almost getting some indirects as well, but there comes the Stingray. The missiles at the same time as well, making it absolutely impossible to make anything out of that push with only 20 seconds left. This 10 attack has some work to do. They're going to make this happen. It was very promising. Definitely. I thought the Inkjet was going to shut it down early on, but they did manage to avoid that. The problem being that the rest of the team seemingly had jumped out. Tenatech does get some shots. Can they pick up the Rainmaker? They can. This looks promising. They don't have the opponent in a strong position. Ultra Stamp coming out. They just need to stay alive for a little bit longer while their team gets some picks. Throw comes out. Rainmaker gets a side pick with some indirect damage. That's lovely. The bombs are in place, but the Stingray's back! The Stingray's back, and it's looking brutal! Oh, so close.
Yeah. That tight finish there, just at the end, just sealed the game for the Ray there. As you said earlier, the Ray there was a really crucial part of the pick here, and allowed the team to just maneuver and kill whenever they needed to.
100%. And while we saw some excellent play from EggSync there at the end, just trying to keep that Rainmaker alive and slowly pushing their team up, every second that they were sitting there was a second that Stingray was charging up and getting ready to fire. And once that started, there was really no stopping it.
Yeah, definitely. Now we notice a new map, a Tower Control Mentamira. Yeah, again, Ray is another really pivotal sort of thing to have here. What are your opinions?
I agree. Here? Ray is a very strong pick on this map. I think also indirect damage is quite strong as well. There are a lot of odd edges that you can shoot around or over that can really lay on the damage. So we're probably going to be seeing a few changes to EggSync's team lineup, I think, especially because of how that last match went. They're probably going to want to get a bit more close and personal and shut down those specials before they become a problem.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, the aggression here is pretty vital, and you want that a lot so you can push forward, grab the tower, and eliminate the specials, like you said, so they can't just stop the tower with a simple ray or missiles like they did a few other times.
100%. Okay, so Thembo IHOP have taken 2 points in this round. Because we are doing a lovely Swiss format, we are going to play all three, but after this, we're going to be moving through to Top Cut as well, where we will see some of the best teams in today's tournament. And a little bit of a preview, we've got a good mix of regions this time as well. So get excited for that.
Yeah, definitely. That would be really cool to watch.
There is definitely a factor where different regions have different overall play styles. Like you notice certain weapon picks that are much more common in some regions, so it's always nice seeing an international tournament like this where our players get to duke it out with their local speciality.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, here we go. Looking at our weapon lineup here, we have Booyah Bombs aplenty. One for each side, as well as a lot more of that fall-off damage on EggSync, as we suspected. 2 rollers, Dynamo and Vanilla, going to be getting a lot of that fall-off damage over some edges. Be excited to see how that gets implemented.
Yeah, definitely. And although we don't see a ray here, although that's what we were really expecting here, tower control. However, the baller here is ready, and they're just trying to shark and provide paint here with that indirect damage, like you said.
Yeah, does manage to get a bit of damage off on the bunker flank, but the Hydra takes them out early. Takes out a second as well. We've got 1 remaining on EggSync right now. This is a good chance for Thembo IHOP to get some decent points on the board. And they've taken out the Dynamo as well. That is critical. That Booyah Bomb would have really slowed down this push.
Yeah, definitely. Now we notice they pop their Booyah, and they're just trying to keep them in a little piece of spawn where they can't really maneuver out, and they can't really stop the push here.
Yeah, this is just going to keep steamrolling, especially if the members of Thembo IHOP are going to keep up this aggression. It's not something we've seen from them thus far, but is working very well in their favor. The Hydra finally manages to clear off the Tower Riders, leaving just an Ink Brush in bunker. Tokos might go for a surprise splat if they can reach it. Don't think they're going to make it. That heavy remix is going to be sitting nice and pretty in mid for some time now. A very good opening score from Thembo IHOP. We need EggSync to really get some surprise splats here if they're going to be able to take this one back.
Yeah, definitely. They might need a coordinated specials here to ensure they can push well and have good coverage. And as I say that, we do see the Booyah coming in and trying to just get that remix off the middle point here so they can't just control the whole entire mid.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. This is a bit of a scrap at this point. You don't usually see splat lanes being played from this position. So to have both teams just rubbing their long range together at close range is proving quite grating for the rest of the players. They're just not sure exactly where to put themselves. Hydra's found its way back up to the netting though, so that one is going to be able to nice and securely lock down mid, especially with some help from some teammates there.
Yeah, definitely. We notice it's 2 vs 3 here, and the Hydra has to just back up so they can provide some safe jumps for the rest of his team.
Hydra definitely wanted to push the tower there. You could see it in their eyes, but they did make the smarter decision and wait for their teammates. Unfortunately, the downside to that being that now the enemy has their respawn as well, so they need to win a new team fight. So far they're leading. It's 2-1 in terms of splats for this fight. So it looks like EggSync might be able to clear this checkpoint if they can take out that brush that is sitting up on bunker.
Yeah, definitely. They're using Inkjet to try and counter that towers there, but unfortunately it does get taken out, and there's only 1 left survived here.
They're in a good spot as long as they can
very good
surprise
position,
them.
yeah.
Oh no, it doesn't surprise them at all. They saw it coming. The Inkjet might have been able to call that out. The Booyah Bomb's going to come down as well to continue this push and allow Eggsink to take the lead. They lose all their players for it, but that 3 points of difference is all they need to keep themselves in this match. They're going to have plenty of time to get onto respawn before the opponent gets to mid, so it shouldn't prove too much of a problem. Thembo IHOP on the back foot. First time in a while.
Yeah, definitely. You notice that they're just trying to get that coverage here again and using their range here again in the mast place here. Just trying to keep their position in a good position. However, they aren't in lead like you just said. They're popping their booyah, but it doesn't seem to get anyone.
Yeah, not seeing too much luck on that. Also, with this heavy just absolutely mowing down opponents, they're going to be nice and well set up to take this lead back. There isn't a checkpoint in the way here. The roller needs to get this done now, and they're not able to. The baller stops them in time, and a wonderful set of shots there from the heavy remix. The Booyah Bomb's going to come out as well. Lead is assured, but can they clear this checkpoint? It's looking difficult, but not impossible. A knockout now would be quite devastating for Eggsink after working so hard for that lead earlier on.
Yeah, definitely. Unfortunately, they aren't able to completely get that knockout here, but on maybe blue here can have a chance. We have 15 seconds left. Maybe we could make this into an overtime game, and we could see a change of lead here.
Yeah, we have Inkjet coming out here just to try and get some opening picks. If they don't get any, this will be a lot of special cost. And it's something they can't really afford. They've taken out 2. The roller's pushed out really early, and that's very good. Got flanking positions on Thembo IHOP. If they're able to be thwarted, this could be a lead take in overtime. They are pushing hard and fast. The bombs are rolling out onto the tower. It's making it impossible to stand there. And they've been taken out. Thembo IHOP with a lovely stop at the end there, securing the 3-0 victory.
Yeah, definitely. That was a clean sweep. However, that was really close all set. That game especially, we noticed turns of who had control over the map and who had the lead there.
Yeah, I mean, the splats were pretty even across the board, but we definitely saw some clutch plays that really changed the result of that match. I can't imagine what would have happened if that overtime had just continued out a little longer, if the roller had been able to get a bit more aggressive. But chat's got lots of love for Boeing, and I can't help but agree that heavy remix play was excellent. So
Yeah, absolutely.
shoutouts to Boeing. Okay, so with that, that's the end of our Swiss bracket. That is all 5 rounds. We can move over to the standings now and have a look at where we sit. I think we have all of our matches, and in very good and interesting news, no one has managed to take a 5-game set in Swiss, which means that we have some very close and hotly competitive teams, which is very exciting.
Yeah, definitely. Super hyped for that.
Okay, so just looking at our standings, our first place team, purely based on opponent match win percentage, is Mictlan Heroes. Mictlan? Oh, right, of course. I've just been informed that we have one match that is still... Oh my goodness, really? That's intense. I've just been informed that there is one match still going, and they are competing for the last spot in Top Cut, which is crazy to think about. I imagine they are sweating in their squid shoes. Okay, well, fingers crossed. I'm not biased or anything, but I do like me some Sturgeon turf. So hopefully they can get this one out. They were identical in terms of points win percentage before this round. So this is going to be a tough set, I'm sure. But confirmed into the... What was that? Ah, that's a shame. Oh well, I mean, like, Gay Gang looked very strong, so I'm not too surprised on that front. I had a feeling. That's okay. I've just... When you get messages from the desk, you gotta make sure that you relay what's going on and try to keep everyone informed. So it looks like we have our top cut ready to go. Gay Gang managing to come out on top of Sturgeon, putting them securely in the 4th spot there. Chat seems happy about that, so I'm happy about that too.
Yeah,
All right,
definitely.
looking at it here. Yeah, do you want to run us through our top 4 teams? Oh, interesting. They actually jumped up to second. Wow, okay. So our top 4 teams, we have the Mictlan Heroes, the Gay Gang, and the Big Nut 700. Some lovely team names today.
Yeah, definitely. Very creative.
Yeah. All of those teams took 4 wins, and then 3 black men and an Indian. 3 wins, and just managing to sneak by on opponent win percentage into that top 4. So well done to our 4 qualifying teams. Thank you to the rest of our teams who have participated in today's Reef Rushdown. I hope you had a good time. But we are going to be moving on to some tense finale action.
Yeah, definitely. Super excited to see what's going to happen here, as we did see that, I'm struggling to remember their names right now, but I think it was Gay something.
Hey, gang?
And them. Taking the games of Sturgeon Turf there. This is going to be an exciting set here.
Very much so. Alright, it looks like we are going to have a short break before we reach Top Cut. So stay tuned, everyone, and get excited for some top-level tournament finale style Splatoon 2. Welcome back to Reef Rushdown 2. We have for you our top cut best of top 4 bracket. We have the Gay Gang versus Big Nuts 700 starting out. These are our second and third ranking teams from our Swiss format. We've seen Gay Gang play a bit on stream, I believe, so we kind of know what they're on about. Crystal, what are you thinking about these teams?
I'm not too sure, but I know a few members of Big Nut, and I'm very scared of what is going to go around here.
Yeah, so a lot of the members of Big Nuts are some of Oceanic's best players. They have some very special trick weapons that they like to pull out for some certain map modes. So we can get excited for that. We're going to be starting on Rainmaker Anchovy. What are your thoughts on this map?
So out of all maps, this is the map you're bound to get snowballed on. The center's just so large in the middle here that you can basically use bombs and like any sort of coverage to your advantage, realistically.
Yeah, absolutely. And with 3 very distant paths to push, if you're out of position and the opponent team decides to dive on one of those locations that isn't being covered, you have to move quick to stop the points just hemorrhaging from that scoreboard.
Right, anything can happen.
Alright, looking at our weapons up the top here, we have 2 Splatlings coming out from Big Nuts, with the very much expected Nautilus on Shockwave and the Heavy Remix. We have just a vanilla charger on Blossoms there, which is going to be very pivotal in holding this mid area as this match unfolds. Gay Gang certainly no strangers to this map mode combination and where the opponent might be hiding. Excellent work there by the Kensa Slush Machine.
Yeah, definitely. Sweet double right there, allowing the team to just push forward. Gay Gang, they're using the splashdown here towards their advantage. They do manage to get a pick or two, and they've managed to push it all the way to 23.
Absolutely, just like you were saying, this map snowballs very hard. We saw just one good set of picks, and already 23 is the scoreline to beat. We see a lot of Big Nuts jumping up onto the snipe platform to try and slow this down, but the Rainmaker's been pushed further while we weren't paying attention. That is very dangerous. That could get knocked out at any
going
second.
Through the piston route here.
A very wise reset, I think, from Big Nuts, as Gay Gang could have very easily taken that to a knockout in a second. And we're going to see a very interesting fight between Blossom's Charger and I think that's the Nautilus on the other fan?
Yeah. I believe so, yeah.
I wonder if we will actually see that fight. It looks like they've backed off and we've got a Stingray instead, just covering that entire drop area. Does manage to trade out a few players, but it looks like Big Nuts are going to be able to win this fight here and push it back to mid. As long as they can get rid of Bankroll. Bankroll's in a good position to pick this up and keep moving.
Yeah, definitely. See the Charger going the piston route again. But they're trying to grab the high ground here so they can push forward. They're going to use their bombs to their advantage here, not allowing anyone in their range. They're going to abuse that here.
Yeah, I've got to give points to Gay Gang. They are spreading their offense wide, which is really pressuring Big Nuts. Like, if they go to deal with this Charger, then they're leaving the Rainmaker path open, but if they don't...
Like, that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
I think we lost you there for a moment, but we are back. Let's see what's happened. Ooh, a lovely snipe to retune into. Manages to get 2 before going down. It's just the Nautilus left on defense. Where are they hiding? Not in a good place. That is going to be a strong Rainmaker push as Bankroll takes out the Nautilus.
Yeah, definitely. We noticed the Kensa machine has the Rainmaker here. They're just giving the coverage here, and they're trying to just push it further, not allowing the enemy team to fall through it and just wasting the time.
Ooh, I don't know if that was the best decision. Gay Gang going 3 down there. They did have a lead. They could have just held the Rainmaker in a strong pressuring position. But now Big Nuts have a chance to counter-offensive. They've gotten points on the board for the first time. They have an Inkstorm rolling out and they're moving with it. Bombs are flying. The armor's coming out for the opposing team and it shuts it down. but it's still in a strong position. The splats now will determine the next minute of the game.
Yeah, definitely. We see the inkjet here, but they use armor to just counteract that strong sort of missile going through simultaneously.
Yeah, we have a Rainmaker reset. The last member, Pog, Raimi, trying their best to keep that Rainmaker safe, but now the Rainmaker is alone and exposed. I think they're probably going to lose it here, and with only a minute left, they are running out of opportunities to get that razor-thin push that they need to get to take that lead back.
Yeah, definitely. We noticed a minute left here on the... They have armor ready too. Jumpers coming in, and they can easily get a triple here.
Very strong. They do manage to get quite a lot of splats there, trading out eventually. Big Nuts just don't have the members at the moment to make this happen. They're throwing out all the offense they can just to try and unseat Gang, but Gang's positioning is vastly superior.
Yeah, definitely. Like we said earlier, they have their mid-ground control here. That is really crucial, and you need to ensure that you have that. However, they do get taken out by the Rainmaker explosion here, and Inkjet is popped, and they're pushing forward with Rain.
Booyah Bomb comes out early so the carrier can not waste their special. But the Ink Armor doesn't keep the Rainmaker up. That Stingray tearing through the opponent push. Gang just knowing exactly what they needed to do to make this happen. With only 10 seconds left, it is looking done and dusted.
Yeah, for sure. Now we have 6 seconds left, and they're just trying to keep safe from the Rainmaker. However, they do get splattered, and that conceals the game, giving Gang the victory here.
Yeah, Big Nuts trying to keep that round alive by taking the Rainmaker back to a safer position. They knew that if they needed overtime, they weren't going to be able to hold it in the opponent front line, and they certainly weren't getting to 9 remaining with no help at the front line. So it was a good decision, but unfortunately the members of Gang were very quick to realize what was going on and took out that Rainmaker before anything could be done about it.
Yeah, definitely. We noticed that Ray played a crucial part in just stopping the pushes there. They had armor, and it did not really work towards the Ray's inescapable sort of...
Yeah, I mean, that's just strong weapon skill, right? Knowing how to use that Stingray and knowing exactly where on the map your opponent is taking the Rainmaker can just lead to some devastating damage, even with the damage reduction through walls. Being able to get all those shots off, and no doubt there was indirect damage of flying as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Very well played for Gang.
For sure. Now here we see Inkblot Tower Control. What are your thoughts of this map?
I do like this one quite a bit. Inkblot Tower Control, the opening is always very tense. Neither player wants to jump on the tower first because it is in such an exposed position. And players will definitely play a lot of tete-a-tete before they finally decide to get some points on the board.
Yeah,
so this
definitely.
opening fight, yeah, it's going to be very defensive.
Yeah, we noticed they do manage to get a pick or two, and there's just chaos going all around in the middle here, around the towers. They're trying to push that lead here, but it's not really working out.
Yeah, the King
splashing on
Machine
the
using the
tower.
height of the tower effectively to win that fight. But the members of Big Nuts are jumping out. They don't want to deal with this right now, and I honestly can't blame them. The Ink Armor is making this very hard for them to push back in.
Yeah, for sure. We notice the slosher is around tower, just flinging up sloshes of ink, trying to stop them, and they do manage to get a pick or two, and with the team coordination, manage to get a triple there, pushing them into the spawn and not allowing them to move in a way where it is easy.
I think Ray was getting a bit too aggressive there. It has stalled the enemy team enough so that they will take the lead. But that first checkpoint's not really the hard one. The second one's the one that gets really difficult. A lot of this map is all about just getting into your opponent's plat and not letting go, because it's very hard to drop down when your enemy could take you out at any moment. The Stingray's going to come out and delay this, but they have cleared the checkpoint thanks to the tower drift, which means that Big Nuts are in with a good chance to get a nice score here.
Yeah, definitely. We notice it's more so on the side of Gang here. They're pushing them into the spawn, but the Chargers getting picks here. They're providing safe jumps, and they're trying to get the mid control here.
The Ray brothers doing a good job staying alive during that section, really stalling out the opponent. and getting some very nice splats. We're seeing this Tri-Slosher do excellent work so far. Gotta give credit where
definitely
credit's due. That is not easy to do.
Yeah, that Tri-Slosher is doing some sweet doubles and triples here, flinging the wall of ink and popping the rain to using it towards their advantage so they can utilize their subs and specials as well.
Yeah, at this point, it's not really about increasing their score. They can go for the knockout if they'd like, but as long as they're keeping the tower in the opponent's area, the opponent is not scoring. Almost a nice triple for Ray on the tower there, but they do finally go down. The lead is increasing, however. Shock jumps up and manages to trade out. Bankroll being the main defender for the tower here. If they can get some picks here, they'll put their team in a good position.
Yeah, for sure. We notice that T-Tech gets a pick in the middle here. They're trying to get their inkjet charged so they can push on, and their try is not giving them a very easy time, and they do manage to get a double there.
Yeah, it seems that the Big Nut 700, a big fan of this map. They've secured a wipe there, and they're going to be able to absolutely roll out onto the opponent's plat, making it very hard for them to stop this push. With only 2 minutes left, you'd be getting a bit nervous if you're the Gay Gang right now.
Yeah, definitely. It's a very close match. It's only 2 minutes left, like you said, and anything can happen with tower control.
Yeah, for sure. We see the Stingray coming out here as well. That is going to be focused purely on the tower and getting a few extra picks. It's taken out by Nether on a lovely little side flank there. Has managed to win 2 fights before finally losing one. The remaining 2 members of Gay Gang are out of position to stop this, which means it's going to be entirely up to the Charger on respawn with the K-Machine to slow this one down. At this point, I don't think they're going to be clearing 3rd checkpoint. That doesn't seem likely, but at least holding on to that lead is something that we're seeing Big Nuts do quite well thus far.
Yeah, suddenly we notice the Sloshers get a trade there, and there's just chaos and special charging going all around the tower there, trying to maneuver it towards the center there so they can push forward again, but it is not working out too well as Big Nut here is just providing that defense.
Yeah, we saw some very ballsy jumps there. Unfortunately, Big Nut's not quite able to stay up and maintain their control, which means that Gay Gang are going to be pushing forward quite strongly here. We've seen some good individual picks come out from Big Nuts. Oh, but a lovely inkjet shot. Can we get a second? We do. This is looking to be quite the strong push, unless the Nautilus is in position to shut this one down.
Yeah, for sure. The Ray is just in the back playing a passive gameplay, providing ink through their wall damage there. And they are scoring the score down. It's 40. Maybe they can take the lead here. There's 10 seconds left and intense chaos here.
It's definitely possible. It's 4v2 at the moment based on the positioning of the players. If they can take out the ones on the tower, and they do, they don't have to win the entire fight. They just get that one splat and they can go home with a point. Big Nut 700 taking that round with a clutch last second splat.
Definitely. Yeah, that charger was very interesting there, as they were just in behind. They didn't need to be in front shooting and sniping. They just needed to be behind shooting their Ray and maneuvering into them into sort of a position where the Slosher could move up and they could get a pick or two.
Yeah, so I believe that's 1-all, if I'm not mistaken. I know I'm going directly against what the stream is telling you right now, but I believe that is the case. So yeah, the Big Nut 700 tying it up. We're going to be moving on to Splat Zone's Manta Maria. This one is going to be very close quarters. We are going to be seeing some... we're going to be seeing a lot of diving, I reckon. People are going to be jumping at these zones like nothing else. And we've seen that both of these teams have clutch players that can survive. We saw Nether in that last match just diving onto the Stingray and shutting down that special, allowing them to get that score that won them the round. And we've seen quite a few members of the Gay Gang be able to solo a few players as well, especially with some well-placed specials. So it's going to be a bit of a slugfest, this one. I'm calling it now.
Yeah, definitely. Can definitely imagine all that chaos in the middle and trying to get that high ground mass control there in the middle and pushing them up with Inkjet like they did before in previous games we've seen from Gay Gang and from Big Nut here.
One of the fun things about Manta Maria is the two zones are so open to high ground. Chargers are definitely going to have a better time on this map. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that Charger sticking around from Gay Gang. But also your Splatlings and your Sloshes have a pretty nice time because of all that fall-off damage. So we might be seeing those stick around as well. I'll be interested to see if we see some change in specials though. I don't know if your Stingray is going to be as effective here than
Yeah,
in some of
definitely.
the other maps we've seen.
Yeah, specifically this map of zones, because we noticed that it's more wider and people can be around everywhere, sharking in places. Stingray isn't too effective here.
Okay, looking at our weapon lineups, we have no change from Big Nuts. Gay Gang, we're seeing a change to the Fire Fin. That makes a lot of sense. That Bomb Rush is going to be much more effective at capping the zones than a Stingray would be. So a very good change-up, a very wise change-up. We'll see how it serves them during this match. Again, they're repping that Vanilla Junior to get that armor, just making sure they can get that survivability increase as well.
Yeah, definitely. We noticed chaos here, and 3 down from Gay Gang. Big Nut just painting the ground here, getting their specials. They've popped Rain, and they're pushing them into a position where they can't really move forward, and they need to grab their specials, they need to paint before they can actually push forward here.
Yeah, and now with the Ink Armor ready to go on Big Nuts, they're going to be able to pop that to delay the opponent's re-entry. The Tentamissile's coming out as well. It's looking like they're going to be able to hold for at least another 5 points here. Only one of the zones needs to go neutral for this push to end. So they're holding on to dear life to that closer zone. They've lost 2 members though. I think Gay Gang are going to be able to get neutral here for sure, especially with that Bomb Rush. The penalty is going to be critical. They land it. Excellent work. Very good push to start with the Big Nuts. But yeah, I mean, it's a long way to go, but it's not impossible.
Yeah, for sure. That double there did play a big role in getting the zone back. However, they did not secure it for very long as Big Nut just immediately took that tap back and they did not allow it to push forward in a way where they had the advantage.
Alright, and with that, a penalty is applied onto Gay Gang. A lot of the members of Big Nuts are in a good position here. We have the Heavy sitting in the opponent bunker. Oh, but as I say that, 2 other ones go down. Big Nuts are going to have to pull off a hasty retreat to stay alive here. They had the Booyah Bomb ready to go. They're probably just looking for the right opportunity to use it, and I guess that opportunity is now.
Yeah, definitely. Booyah played a crucial role there in capping the zone and stopping the push from immensely pushing further. The Junior and the Tri go wider, and the Junior does take the kill there, retreating back and covering their bunker here.
We've seen that Tri get very aggressive so far in these matches. Almost to a fault in some of these cases, but it's been working well for them so far. They've cleared their penalty, only 15 points left, and only 2 members in position on Gay Gang to shut this one down. They've managed to get neutral, but it's looking pretty definitive.
Yeah, definitely. There's the game ceiling right there, and I believe that was Big Nut who took the win there.
Absolutely, Big Nuts
KO
with the
bonus
finishing
here.
Inkjet splats as well. Very good to see.
Yeah, it was a very promising game for Big Nut here the entire match, realistically.
For sure. Going into this as the only remaining Oceanic team, from my understanding in the top cut, there could be another one that I don't know, but this is the team I do know. They are going to be very happy right now that they are representing... well, they're representing Big Nuts. I don't know how to feel about that, actually, but chat's at least enjoying it, so that's fine. We're going to move on to Clan Blitz Piranha Pit. This is going to be set point for Big Nuts.
What are your thoughts on this map?
Clan Blitz on Piranha Pit is an absolute mess. It is very hard to get a push going because the basket is quite distant and there is a lot of open ground between mid and the basket. So teams have a hard time getting points going in this map generally. But if you can get an effective lockout where you shut down your opponent on spawn, you can really do some damage. There are only really 2 entry points from spawn to the basket, so if your opponent is scoring, it's very hard to be unpredictable. It's very hard to find a safe route in, especially without costing yourself a lot of time. So the key
Yeah.
to this map is really getting the team in the right location and establishing a secure lockdown.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. And on top of that, bubbles can really play a crucial role here in allowing, because it's very narrow push way, and there's only really two distinct ways you can push, both which you need to go similar towards the basket here, because you can't shoot too far away to the basket to secure your clam in. But yeah, as you said, the chip damage and the um indirect damage here can play a crucial role in pushing them back, as yeah, they can't waste too much time, but they can't get spotted either, so it leaves a bit of an epitome here.
Absolutely, it's a very tough challenge that all of our teams are going to have to try and overcome. I've just heard from the streaming booth as well. Mictlan Heroes have managed to win their face-off, so the winner of this match is going on to face Mictlan Heroes for the championship. So it's going to be a tough fight at the top. They were the favorite to play against, so we'll see how they pan out. But they got to focus on right now. We've got our weapons here. A 96 Gal coming out from Blossoms instead of a Charger. That is an interesting pick. We'll see how that pans out for them.
Yeah, definitely. We noticed the Nautilus on both sides as well this time. No change from Big Nut comp-wise here. They're using their same comp and strategies all set there.
It's hardly surprising when you know these players as well as you can. These are their favorite weapons to put in the pocket. So it makes sense that they've practiced with these weapons, and it makes sense that they would be comfortable rolling with these weapons. They at least know how to make them effective. Gagan with an early
18.
clan lead. But losing that very quickly. Losing 2 members in the process. It looks like Big Nuts might be the ones to get the first score here. Though, as I mentioned earlier, it's very hard to make it to that basket even if you have the clans at your disposal.
Yeah, definitely. We noticed they do have 7 there, and they're trying to push him with Cloud, but it's not really working, as they do manage to get 2 picks off. The Slosh is just running around and killing people, but at the end he does end up getting taken out. The 96 Gal is pushing forward here. He has a clam, but he does not, unfortunately, not make it in and gets spotted as soon as he tries to.
Okay, so that is 2 power clams in for the Gay Gang. Very good opening score, and they're still continuing. I don't know where these clams are coming from. It looks like they took the ink rail around. That is a massive continuation there. 2 power clams is something, but getting all those extra clams in as well is going to put quite the margin between Big Nuts and victory. So Gay Gang can breathe a little easier here, knowing that they have that extra room to play with.
Yeah, definitely. It's 145 here, like you said, that is a pretty big lead. But however, if they do manage to pull it off like they did last time with their double clams, it could really pay off here. However, they do manage to score again with 2 clams again, and it goes down to 32.
Yeah, Nether as well with the power clam means that they are marked. Popcorn's going to have an easy time just trying to hit them from a distance. Realizing that fight's not exactly going in their favor, they jump back to spawn. But I mean, they've managed to get a score increase there, and they've reduced their penalty, which is very impressive to see. It's looking very strong for Gay Gang at the moment. Big Nuts are going to need to get a good amount of the opponent down before they can make something happen. I don't think a sneak play is going to work in their favor here.
Yeah, definitely. However, they do manage to score, and they get another claim in, making it down to 54. They're still scoring in, and the Slosh is moving them back. They're trying to not let them maneuver into a position where they can eliminate them. However, they do take 2 out. One person is left on the side of Big Nuts here.
And they don't have any clams! Oh, it was very close. They were 1 clam shy of making that push happen. They did get the opponent's team 3 down before that push started, which is exactly what they need to do if they're going to be able to get under this basket. But unfortunately, they weren't quite able to slow down the re-entry enough. And being 1 clam shy means that now they need 2 power clams in that basket if they're going to be able to take this one out. With 1:30 left, it's going to be difficult to get that kind of opportunity again.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. However, it is only 1 point left, and we do see a 35 penalty here. This could be potential to score again for the side of Big Nut.
It's a wipe!
And they do manage to score here. Yeah, and that is a wipe, you're right.
with the power clams coming in one by one, they're increasing their cost value, and they take it to a knockout! Big Nuts 700 take the 3-1 victory over the Gay Gang.
Yeah, that was a really intense match. It was super exciting the whole game. However,
I didn't
we
even
do
see those
notice to
last
see.
splats happen. I don't. When did those happen? They just.
Yeah,
just did.
definitely. All those clams just went in at once, and we didn't see anything at the end there.
I mean, props to them. They did a wonderful job in getting the opponent team 3 down twice in a row, and having the clams ready when they needed them. That's how you win the game. That's exactly what we said they needed to do at the start, and they pulled it off.
Yeah, definitely. Gang, they're also being really strong there. They had the momentum in most of the game. However, Big Nut did manage to take the lead there at the end with their clans, and their superior just going at it for it with their protection and just wiping them out. That really secured the game for them.
I really didn't see the KO coming, honestly. I thought that maybe they'd be able to just sneak under the point margin, but I really thought Gay Gang were going to be able to get another scoring opportunity up. It seems like they just got caught a bit out of position, and Big Nuts were able to just shut them out. Props to them.
Yeah, for sure. That was a really intense set.
Okay, well with that one squared away, we know what our grand final is going to be for Reef Rushdown 2. Big Nuts 700 are going up against... it's Mictlan Heroes. I just... That's too many consonants in a row, honestly. I'm not taking full responsibility for that.
Yeah, definitely. These names are very creative tonight, I must say.
Yeah, they're definitely used to a lot of fish puns, so it's nice to get a bit of variation on that front. Alright, so, our grand final. We will have a third place match in the background as well, so 3 black men and an Indian are going to be facing off against Gay Gang. So we will have the results for that for you, chat, at some point. But for right now, Mictlan Heroes versus Big Nut 700. I didn't realize Mictlan Heroes had such a big roster. I wonder if they've been using a lot of substitutions throughout this tournament.
Yeah, they do have a big 6 there compared to a 4 on the side of Big Nuts. This could be interesting on the grounds that we could see different comp styles and different comp picks and different how they're going to coordinate with each other.
Well, you know what Big Nuts like to do. I don't imagine we'll see any changes to their weapons unless they get a very incompatible map mode. But Mictlan Heroes, they've been performing well all day. They haven't been untouchable, but they were our top rank at the end of the tournament. Just purely based on the fact that they had the toughest opponents out of everyone in the bracket. So, I mean, they've definitely got the chops. I want to see what their style is, though. I need to see their strategies. I need to see what they're thinking.
Yeah, for sure. That plays a crucial role in securing the game.
So, now our final format is best of 7. So we're guaranteed at least 4 games of Splatoon. We're going to see every mode in those 4 rather. So teams really need to be adaptable in this sense. We know that Big Nut 700 lost their Rainmaker match against their last opponent, and it wasn't exactly close either. Like, we saw a very strong amount of pushing from the Gay Gang to shut that down. So hopefully they have a new strategy that can use their 4 weapons, because they are sticking to these 4 weapons. I'm just hoping they have a new strategy that will work with those 4 weapons for Rainmaker.
And while you say that, we do start off with Splat Zones, however, on New Albacore Hotel. What are your opinions on this map?
Well, Splat Zones on Albacore is a wonderful map if you like your long-range weapons. Players love to absolutely sit back and get the zone without having to cross the watery death bridge that can cause so many splats to trade either way. So, based on the comps that we've seen, Big Nuts should have a good time with this one. In addition to that, the Splat Zone's opener is a very good opener to get a read on your opponent. Being able to play Splat Zones means that you don't have to focus as much on objective, you're focused a lot more on team fights, so you can get a good sense of your opponent's strategy while playing Splat Zones.
Yeah, definitely. Now, we do see Nautilus this time. However, you did say we probably wouldn't see much comp change. However, we do see Nautilus with rain this time. That is double rain.
Yeah, I did not expect to see the ballpoint coming out, but I guess that Inkstorm will be quite effective in painting the zone from a distance. Mictlan Heroes, however, running a very, I would say, standard comp. We have armor, damage, slosh, and maybe the gal's a bit out of the left field, but I do like to see it, and it is pretty popular within the NA scene from my understanding, so nothing too surprising. They're able to get early control despite not having the player advantage, and we have Takos there just hiding and taking out Nether immediately. Very good positioning, and the callout doesn't come quickly enough. Ray is taken out as well. That gal is going to be an absolute nuisance. If they can keep that strategy up, Big Nuts will not be able to get onto the zone. They just need to pick a new hiding place each time, and they will be very much an effective flanking support.
Yeah, definitely. We notice that Splashdown is ready here. They're coordinating it with their BR there. They're moving it forward, but they have to try and dodge all the splat bombs and inches moving their way, and they do need to pop the Splashdown in order to do that. However, they do get taken out in the end, and we notice Inkstorm being popped in the back. That's double Inkstorm on both sides.
Lovely work by the Inkjet there to survive the K-Machine attack. It's not an easy thing to do. K-Machine does have that extra bit of reach that you're sometimes not prepared for. And Big Nuts are pushing up and pushing up fast. That is a 2-1 trade, meaning that Mictlan Heroes are going to be outnumbered if they try and take the zone right now. Ray is in a good position. Booyah Bomb comes out though. It doesn't quite change the cap. And the K-Machine go down as well. That is going to be a lead take for Big Nuts. Very strong play there. I really thought for sure we were going to see a swap with that Booyah Bomb being uncontested. But Big Nuts were able to rotate into position very quickly, and they are now dangerously close to a knockout.
Yeah, definitely. We notice 15 points left until the game is finished. However, they go 3 down, leaving the Nautilus the only one alive here.
Yeah, I don't see that defense working out too well. Tikos definitely had a good shot at taking that zone there. Even if there was someone contesting them, they were in a very good position. The Boo Bomb's going to come out now as well, and hopefully shut down a lot of the respawn for Big Nuts. They get one, but they've lost one in the process. If they don't position themselves well here, they could lose control, and they do! A very sneaky set of splats is going to flip that and apply another penalty. And while we see 2 go down there, it is still anyone's game. We have 2 minutes left in this, and quite a point buffer between Mictlan Heroes and the lead they are so desperately striving for right now.
Yeah, for sure. This is a really exciting sort of game here. We notice 42 down. They've removed their penalty, but can they keep the cap in order to push forward their points here?
Rafter sends out the point sensors, does manage to mark quite a bit of the enemy team, but unfortunately only resulting in trades. They're managing to stay up and get some picks on their own, but they smartly jump out. That is not a fight that they are going to be able to win. And while Big Nut's not exactly close to a KO, it takes a lot of self-control to be able to make that call and jump out when the scoreline is that thin. We see plenty of trades happening back and forth in many areas of the map, but it looks like Mictlan Heroes are going to be in control. The Nautilus is not going to be able to outpaint this gal. So Mictlan Heroes will be able to keep control for a short while.
Yeah, definitely. They do get 2 picks here, and they do manage to get a 3rd here as well. This could give Mictlan Heroes here a really nice advantage here. They're scoring their points, they're on 30. They've moved their opponent back towards a position where they need to grab their specials and move forward just in time so they can't get the lead here.
Tikos the Lynch has been such a linchpin in this match, clutching out several times. Unfortunately, they were so close to the lead, but we see the last minute cap is going to put another 40-point penalty onto the board. That is not what you want to see if you are hoping for Mictlan Heroes to take this first round. Especially with now an Inkjet and an Inkstorm moving over the zone, and 30 seconds remaining. I think that Big Nuts, while they won't be getting a KO, they should be able to maintain control for a good amount of time, further extending the amount of overtime push that Mictlan heroes are going to have to pull off to make this happen.
Yeah, definitely. They've got their army here and they're trying to push forward. They're using their bombs to their advantage. They've got their splash wall up. The ballpoint's like pretty much the only one left alive here. And can Mictlan Heroes just pull this off? They've got a penalty and 4 points left.
Mictlan heroes just trying to get special so that they can keep this one together. It's a very thin margin. They've managed to take out Ray on the way in. The Inkstorm's rolling out, though. That will be able to get neutral if the Booyah Bomb is shot over. But it's not enough! Mictlan Heroes take it in the closing seconds! All the specials in the world from Big Nuts were not quite enough to counteract the Booyah Bomb and the amount of turf pressure that Mictlan Heroes had ready. I mean, if all our matches are going to be this close, I cannot help but be incredibly excited by how these games are going to go.
Yeah, definitely. That was really exciting. Pivotal point there at the end. We noticed they took it in the last second of the game. They had to go overtime, and it really sealed the game for Mictlan Heroes. It was really hype. It was really close that whole entire game.
I've got to give the Cancer Gal on Mictlan Heroes some mad props. There were several times where they managed to clutch out a number of splats for their team, and that Booyah Bomb at the end, that was theirs. That Booyah Bomb is what single-handedly kept them in that match. If that hadn't have been there, that would have flicked 100%. So, I mean, you got to give mad credit to that gal, and I'm excited to see what they pull off in our next matches.
Yeah, definitely. That gal was really impressive that game. Now we see Rainmaker Starfish here. What are your opinions here?
Rainmaker Starfish is a pretty slow map. It's a bit of a slog to get the Rainmaker where you need it to go. And recently a lot more people have been adopting the risky method of going high with your Rainmaker push. If you can get the Rainmaker past a certain point there, you can steamroll it all the way to the end. It's just a matter of whether your opponent's ready for it and whether they shut it down before it can happen. And considering we have a Cancer Gal on Mictlan Heroes, I don't see any trouble in them shutting down that push, which means that we're just going to need to see a lot of splats for Big Nuts, otherwise it is not going to happen for them.
Yeah, for sure. Now, we noticed the Nautilus has made an appearance again here. They're going double rain, I believe that is again. I'm not sure how that is going to play out on a Rainmaker map here.
It definitely wasn't a bad pick last time. We did see Ray 41 getting good use out of that ballpoint. The survivability and painting was definitely helping them in that last match. The painting will be less useful here, but not useless by any stretch. Any painting is very useful in getting your Rainmaker around. So, early splats are going very 50-50, but we're seeing Mictlan Heroes pressing the advantage here, as we predicted they might. Looks like they were trying to go for the shutdown, but we saw Ray 41 able to stop that where it stands. The high path is so dangerous on this map that if you do not recognize it early, it can really cost you.
Yeah, definitely. This map is very weird and can really orientate around that high point, yeah. Now, we notice they pop their armor here. They're trying to maneuver into a point, but they do get splattered.
Yep, and with the 2 down on either side now, the Rainmaker will have a clear path to get lead, but they are taken out very quickly by the Nautilus. I mean, it's not much of a lead. At this point, it's barely a lead at all, especially with so much of the match left to go. The downside, though, for Big Nuts is that Mictlan Heroes are going to be getting a slow amount of special charge now, because they are behind. And that special charge is what's going to help them push past the point of no return and get that lead back from their opponent.
Yeah, definitely anything can happen with Rainmaker. They do put their Inkjet and armor here. They're trying to counteract, but 2 go down and they're moving forward. They're getting their pushes. Someone's jumping in here. They're going to maneuver around the opposite end so they can get that high ground control there. And they do get the lead even further.
Yep, that's a very strong lead position. We do see the Gal trying to run around as well, but that is a complete wipe, meaning that their opponent will be quite devoid of special here. We have the Inkjet ready to go on Shockwave, so we should see some good opening picks. It's a very good scoreline. They pushed it very well, and the ballpoint did well to delay it long enough for that triple to come out from, I think it was the suction bomb. But yeah, it is not an untouchable lead by any stretch. All it takes is a few good splats and some very aggressive play, and you can make that happen, no problem. Booyah Bomb's going to take out Shock, however, which means the Rainmaker is alone. Rainmaker's just going to try and get some picks here and deny the opponent some special. They know they're not getting anywhere fast. In fact, they are getting taken out. And the jump is camped as well. That stealth jump will not help you if your opponent is standing right there.
Yeah, for sure. That stealth jump only has a limited amount that it actually works. They do pop their beer again here. That did stop the push last time. Maybe it could help them make a push this time. But however, it did not get anyone. They do have the armor. Both teams have their armor ready. The way they pop them is going to play a crucial part in how they push forward here.
I've got to give credit to the Booyah Bomb placement as well. That Booyah Bomb was perfectly sectioned on the part of the stage that the opponent team wanted to climb up. So it bought their team a lot of time to reposition. We see Big Nuts going for a sneak play. They try to push past the opponent, but Mictlan Heroes were already in a position to shut that down. It does not go as far as it needed to go.
Yeah, definitely. They do jump in again, and the gal does spot them.
That gal is the nemesis of the Nautilus here. We're seeing T-Cost just continuously shutting down that Nautilus's chances to get back in on the map. And it makes sense from a matchup perspective, but it also makes sense from a player perspective. We've seen this gal absolutely owning the map on several occasions, not conceding ground, and if you try and jump in on their ground, you are gonna get splattered.
Yeah, definitely. That gal is playing really well today. Props to them.
We have the
we
double
see the
install
double
coming out
range
now. It
come
has
here,
popped the
yeah.
bubble. But it won't really buy them much of a push. They need to get picks if they're going to be able to get past the stage here. And with the Rainmaker about to reset, they dive on it, luckily avoiding the bomb damage there. But they've lost a player. If they lose another one, this push is ill-fated. Especially if it's the carrier.
Yeah, especially the Rainmaker carry did die there at the end. The Nautilus is trying to... yeah, especially.
With 15 seconds left and the Nautilus ready with an Inkjet, I don't see this going any way in particular. Interestingly, Rainmaker picked up by the Nautilus. They're just going to be hanging in this spot here, hopefully trying to get some picks. If they go down, it could be costly for their team. And they do! That is going to be overtime. What could have been a clever strategy, it might end up costing them here. Oh no, but the bomb going off on the Rainmaker shield, that will be enough. I was thinking if the ballpoint could have popped that barrier and gotten a pick off the pop, they might have been able to make something of that. And props to the Tri-Slosher for getting in there and earning overtime, but that one was a much clearer victory to Mictlan Heroes. Big Nuts really only with one strong push, and it was a sneak push that got shut down. So, weren't able to really secure that scoreline.
Yeah, definitely. Like you were saying, that Tri was playing really well that game. They did manage to get 19 kills there. Pretty intense.
For sure, for sure. So moving on to Clamblitz Mako Mart now. And we've seen this already tonight, I believe. Clamblitz on Mako Mart was the first match of round 5 that we streamed.
Yeah, definitely.
So we saw in that we saw many openings of the basket. We saw power clam after power clam going in, but the winning team was the one that held onto their clams and took the dunk in overtime. Now, based on how I've been seeing these teams play so far, I don't think either one is going to be obsessively dunking to the point where they build up a penalty. These teams know better than to take those kind of risks. But what I wouldn't be surprised to see is a lot of flanking on stack, because we have quite a lot of players here that play weapons that are very stack friendly, and flank on stack is a great way to handle that.
Yeah, for sure, that high point can really stop a push there with just turfing, and maybe you could even get a pick or two with fall off occasionally.
Fingers crossed we see some amazing shots like that. As for weapon changes and lineup, we could see the heavy remix come back in for Big Nuts, but other than that, I don't predict any changes there. Mictlan Heroes, they picked up the Naught in response on the second round. I think they've been counter-picking pretty nicely. Their gal is doing a wonderful job at shutting down the double Splatling comp, so I don't think we'll see any changes from them either. though I'm willing to accept any changes that come our way.
Yeah, definitely. That wall is really helpful in providing protection towards those inescapable ink of the Spartlings there.
Yep.
And
Okay,
as
so
you
we do
did
have the
say,
heavy
they do
remix
pick
coming back.
remix here today, yeah.
Additionally to that, we have Double Slosher. No, that's not Double Slosher. It is Double Slosher for Mictlan Heroes. They're running the Tri-Slosher now as well, just picking up another weapon from the opponent's comp. Is this a mind game, or is this just good play? I cannot tell.
Probably a bit of both, actually. We don't know. However, we do see they have 13 clams and 3 on the side of Big Nuts here. Are they able to stop the push here? We could be possible, and they do manage to maneuver them back and get the Tri-Slosher there as well.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of splats for Big Nuts at the moment. They are splat leading by quite a margin. And this Booyah Bomb's going to be able to open up some nice space. It ends up having to be used in front of them rather than where they probably would have liked it. But they do have an opportunity to score here. They have plenty of clams at their disposal and an inkjet to ferry their way in should they choose to use it. Ooh! Ooh, that
Yeah,
Booyah Bomb got
definitely.
some cleanup. I think it was the Booyah Bomb. That is a
Yeah, that's a
wipe.
wipe
Ooh.
on the side of Big Nuts here. This gives them a huge opportunity to push up. The wall provides them a safe protection to give them a barrier where they can push here. They can boost their clam economy, perhaps. However, the Sparklings here are abusing their range, like we said, on that top barrier there and not letting anyone push through.
I've got to give credit to Mictlan Heroes. They were doing a great job at passing clams forward there. They knew they had a splash wall in position, so they just threw all the clams to where they needed to be. And honestly, I feel like they probably should have gotten more points than that. I'm gonna take a guess and say that when the wipe happened, they didn't have quite as many clams as they would have liked. So they had to kind of rush it. And because of that, their scoreline is not as good as they were hoping it would be. That being said, if they can continue to get picks like that, the opponent will not get a chance to score. So they just need to keep that pressure up.
Yeah, definitely. The Nautilus does get taken out there right as he was popping Inkjet, which is kind of concerning.
Yeah, we have the Booyah Bomb coming out now as well. That's going to lock off a lot of space. Does trap the Tri-Slosher out and take them out. With one down on either side, neither team probably has the confidence to push forward here. Though, if they can get a few more clams, Big Nuts might just have to take that chance. They are halfway through the match here, and they have not seen a power clam to the basket yet.
Yeah, definitely. That Booyah does come into play here. They're boosting it at the player with Mark, with the clam open, so they can remove them. However, they push forward with a splashdown, and that causes the Sparklings to reposition. However, they do get a pick of 3, potentially 4. That's a wipe, and they do have a great opportunity to push through here.
Yeah, easy lead take. They had plenty of clams ready to go between them. The respawns come in quite hard and fast. They're going to have difficulty getting more in at this point, though Shock is going to try. Oh, Power Clam comes in! Doesn't quite make it. The Booyah Bomb's a bit too slow. If that had been faster, we definitely would have been seeing a 15-point remaining. But unfortunately, that Power Clam goes to waste. Getting there a bit too slow. Very good push from Big Nuts, though. They just need to hold on now and keep their defensive line at bay, and they can take this one home. However, Mictlan Heroes definitely not resting on their laurels. They've got a Power Clam ready to go, and they are on stack. The dunk is almost certainly inbound. There it is. Now it's just a matter of finding the remaining clams on the map and getting past the Tri-Slosh defender.
Yeah, definitely. They probably won't be able to push forward too much here. However, they do put the Tri-Slosher in a position where they can't move forward. However, the Tri-Slosher does manage to get a pick there. 1 versus 4, and he does manage to get the pick. We notice it's 1 minute left on the timer. Can Mictlan Heroes bring the game back to themselves?
I mean, we're seeing Ray doing an excellent job on this Tri-Slosher, just playing that side flank on stack perfectly, as we said they needed to do. They managed to get quite a few clams around the side as a distraction. Unfortunately, they have not increased their score margin, so this is going to be difficult. The Power Clam comes in, though, and that is definitely an increase. An excellent play. They threw everything they had at that. Hopefully, they haven't given up too much ground here, because the opponent is very much ready to score. In fact, yeah, I'm worried they may have overcommitted there because they had the lead, but now because of that overcommit, the opponent has 33 clams in their holds. If they can't get a pick now, Big Nuts are going to be losing this one as well. The Booyah Bomb clears up the snipe position. Where are the picks? They need to be coming in, and they need to be coming in fast. That's 2 power clams in. Oh, but that's the wipe! They've done it! Big Nuts have shut down Mictlan Heroes. They had the clams on hand, but now with 3 seconds left, I do not believe they are respawning and getting to the basket in time. That is a round to Big Nuts. I mean, I know it's overtime right now, but like, it feels very tough. There it is.
And as you said, that is the round. That was an amazing blast from Big Nuts there. They were using their Spartlings as their advantage. They were abusing the range there. The Tri-Slusher was just there sharking. They were giving them paint and rain there. It really allowed them to come forward and stop that push here.
100%. We saw both the Splatlings and the Tri-Slosher playing their role to a T. They knew exactly what they needed to be doing for the majority of their match, and they got it done. And then I will give like props to Big Nuts. Like Mictlan Heroes, they're winning splats the majority of the time, but when Big Nuts get 1 splat, they get 2, they get 3, and then they start something rolling. And in a mode like Clam Blitz, that is huge. In Tower Control though, less huge. It's harder to get points quickly in Tower Control, so hopefully Big Nuts can start winning those general fights rather than just the team wipey ones.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. We noticed that Booyah Bomb Spatling made a huge difference in the way they had to play, and it allowed them in a way that they were protective in how they could shoot their clams. It was really a big game changer in the end there.
For sure. Alright, so moving on to Tower Control Wahoo World. Based on the weapons we've seen so far, how do you think this one's gonna go?
Well, we noticed they were a Booyah change. Maybe we might see a different Spatling with Ray. However, that doesn't seem to be true, however, as I would have liked. This map is quite wide, so that is quite understandable, actually.
Interestingly, Drafter keeping the Tri-Slosher from the last map, and opting not to take the Booyah that they've had thus far, meaning that Big Nuts are going for much more of a slow but steady push approach here. They don't have anything that is super flashy or showy. They're just hoping to get a lot of points over time. And for Tower Control, not a bad pick, especially for Wahoo World. This map is very hard to get past the first checkpoint on.
Yeah, definitely. We noticed they had double armor there as well on the side of Big Nuts. Minican Heroes, I believe.
Yeah, Mictlan Heroes definitely in with a good chance to clear this first checkpoint here. The first armor and Booyah coming out now. We will see how they hold on. Bomb's gonna push them off temporarily, but they should be able to get back on, and I don't think anyone's in range to... No, never mind! Nether is able to shoot them off, and the Tri-Slosher comes in from the side. They're able to stop that checkpoint from clearing, which is critical on this map. That being said, Mictlan Heroes get the wipe there. They will definitely be able to clear it this time. That is a big blow for the Big Nuts. You do not want to lose this checkpoint, especially not this early.
Yeah, definitely. It's 55 points on the side of Big Nuts. Sorry, they've maneuvered them into spawn. However, this person is just sharking the gal again, like we've seen the entire set. And they've gotten a pick too. They've gotten 2, most likely 3 now, due to the person jumping in. And that is 3 picks from the gal, allowing a position where Big Nuts can maneuver forward.
Big Nuts definitely have some big cojones taking jumps like that. They know for a fact that that gal plays aggressively, and yet they are still taking those risks. It'll work out for them sometimes, but right now it is costing them dearly. Drafter's able to get the double as well. They should be able to continue at least stalling the tower while their team jumps back in. So this is looking very dangerous for Big Nuts.
Yeah, definitely. You notice that Inkjet comes into play, and they do manage to get 2 picks, getting taken out at the end there from the gal, just doing their job, using their walls as advantage. However, they do all manage to get wiped out, and the tower is going to be retreated back to the center.
That is very critical. They've managed to hold on there. Yeah, if they hadn't gotten those picks, that would have been game done and dusted. But we are seeing Big Nuts getting back into mid and hopefully re-establishing control. It is a hard point margin for them to reach, but certainly not impossible.
Yeah, definitely. That is a really crucial point, like you said. Yeah, the Nozzle Nose here is abusing their range. They've got the control here, however the wall is going to allow them to push forward and do manage to take that H3 out. They're going to play in a passive maul position, as they do have an exceedingly long lead, that's all they really need to do is stop the tower and stop them from pushing forward here.
Yeah, it's not going to be hard for them to do. They have the kit for it, especially with Tikos here on the Gal with those splash walls. They're going to be able to more than effectively pressure the mid and the first checkpoint. Tower is reaching the first checkpoint now. The Booyah Bomb, though, very easily able to land on it. Pushes the Tri-Slusher far out, and there is no one really to back them up in this close-range fight. So they're going to have to abandon the tower for a little bit of time. No splats on either side at the moment, though the Booyah Bomb is going to separate out a lot of Mictlan. If the Big Nuts can clear this checkpoint, and they do, that is huge. Even if they don't take the lead on this push, they will be very much more prepared to do it on the next one.
Yeah, definitely. Nautilus is going at it at each other, and one of the Nautilus does take the kill there. Both Armor and Inkstorm are popped here. They're moving forward. The Nautilus is trying to grab tower and push it back to a position where they are safe and they are comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, with 53 seconds left, I don't know if Big Nuts have the tools to level this one out. They're going to be trying their hardest, getting into some aggressive positions, but already the Inkjet just flying through and tearing up the opponent's side. It's not looking good for Big Nuts.
Yeah, definitely. The H3 and the Booyah there does come into play. They do manage to get a Pikachu. However, they do need a retreat so they don't die here.
Yeah, it's looking very tough. That is a wipe, so we are going to be seeing Mictlan Heroes. I wonder if they will push forward here. Yeah, okay, so Big Nuts, the colors have been fixed, thank goodness. They have managed to get the wipe there, so they're going to be able to push forward and jump into overtime. They have one checkpoint standing between them and victory. The second one doesn't need to be cleared, but they're going to need 2 more wipes if they're going to make this happen, and that is not going to be easy.
Yeah, for sure. This is going to be a really close game. However, it is overtime, and as you said, it was not easy to pull through and get that lead there. In the end, I believe that is Minigan. They did manage to seal the game there and win that game with tower control, like you said.
Yeah, Booyah Bomb on your team is going to more than certainly shut down tower control on this map. It is not hard to get legs on the tower while the Booyah Bomb is going off, and that is all you need to shut down overtime. Mictlan Heroes take it to 3-1, and they are on championship point as we go into Clam Blitz. Now, Clam Blitz is the mode that Big Nuts won last time, so we'll see if Big Nuts can take this one out, or if they are going to get squashed before they have a chance at the championship themselves.
Yeah, definitely. This is Clan Blitz again, and as we saw in Macromart, we might see the Booyah coming into play here. However, we noticed the Great, you are left really vulnerable while you are trying to move towards it, so we might notice another way that you might go. I'm not too sure what it's called, but if you go left side, it is a completely distinct way from going the usual sort of Great way.
Yeah, Hop Up is available on this mode and can be quite useful, especially because Great is very difficult to push. It's a harder basket to get to in general than Clam Blitz on Mako Mart, so our teams will probably be taking their time to build up a bit more before they go for those dunks. Probably won't be seeing any quick and simple 20-point power clams without at least some clams to back them up.
Yeah, definitely. Team coordination on this map here is really crucial. As you said, it's really wide, and you need to ensure that you have everyone in the correct position so you don't manage to lose the lead and they don't manage to score.
Now, if I know these players, and the fact that they've all been running the same Nautilus for the duration of this set, means that we're going to be seeing a lot of very aggressive ink jets on this map. They can pop up in places you do not expect and absolutely wreck your defensive line. So we're probably going to be seeing a lot of that today.
Yes, that inescapable sort of missile constantly overpowering towards you is really effective on this map.
Okay, I imagine our teams are taking just a little bit of extra time here to think about this one. They really want to make sure they pick correctly because this is make or break for both of our teams here.
Yeah, definitely. looking at our comps, we have no change on the side of Big Nuts here. They're using that Booyah and double Splatling here again. Hopefully that is enough for them to take the game here.
Yeah, I'm liking seeing the Hero Slosher coming out from Mictlan Heroes. It's something we haven't seen from them so far today. They do like their double Slosher, though usually they'd run a K-Machine. So we'll see how this change affects their performance. It's definitely a faster weapon, and this is a very fast map. So far, it's looking pretty much in favor of Mictlan Heroes. They've taken out all but one, and they found the last one. So that means that they are going to be getting to the basket, no questions asked. And the power clams are rolling.
Yeah, the missiles there played a crucial part. They had to separate in order to dodge them. Then the Booyah came in. It really allowed Minigun Heroes to have a decent push there. And they're still going at it with 2 more clans. Ooh, and we're at 50, halfway mark here.
And winning that fight there, they are going to be able to get several more clams in that are just sitting around. A very strong open there by the Junior to get all those picks early on. With more clams are going in. They've jumped in and they've survived, and they're getting more clams into the basket. This is brutal. Mictlan Heroes are not stopping for a second.
Yeah, definitely. That's a really big lead there at 26. However, they do have a 37 penalty, but it's not a big deal as the other team hasn't even scored yet. This really gives Minigun Heroes a really strong lead.
Yeah, we do see the jump back there with the power clam. Smart enough to not jump all the way to spawn, because you will lose your power clam if you try that. Seems like Mictlan Heroes just want to keep their clams ready for a rainy day. They're not trying to get overly aggressive. They know they've got a very good score lead. They're just holding onto those clams until they eventually get those picks, especially because they don't want to be marked while on the defense here. Looks like they've taken out more than enough to push forward. The only one left being the Heavy Remix. They are not going to be able to stop either of these power clams going in. And with only 20 points remaining on the scoreline, we see clams being passed up onto the ledge, but no one's there to receive them. No one's able to pick them up. Tri-Slosher takes out the one hope they had of getting those in. And it was a very well coordinated push, except that they forgot to leave someone up the top there to pick up those clams.
Yeah,
either that or their scorer was taken out, but I mean, they're still not in any danger. They're doing a wonderful job in holding this match. It's just the knockout was very scarily close there, and I wouldn't be surprised if they take another shot at it.
Absolutely, yeah. They've only got 20 points here, and only with a 21 penalty, this could really be a big game changer. If they score one more time, it could really seal the game for Minigun Heroes. However, Big Nuts does have a big chance here to come back, coordinate their specials, and change the game. Ooh.
I was going to say, that looked a bit weird. We have lost connection to that round. Now, I'm not 100% sure of how IPL wants to handle their replays here, but because the scoreline was under 20, I don't know if one will be awarded. Well, it was at 20, it wasn't under 20, but I'm unsure about what the result is going to be on that one. Whole room crash? Okay. In that case, I think we'll get a replay? I'm not 100% sure. We'll find out. Okay. So we're just chatting with the teams now to find out what's going on. It was an entire room crash, which means that we do not have a conclusion to that match. I
definitely
agree,
wasn't
the
a
replay would be
specific
nice
team
to
lagging
watch.
here.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So
it's
we've
their
just...
choice?
Seems to be that way. We've been informed that Mictlan Heroes are able to choose whether they would like to replay or take the point. They have earned the point in terms of getting to the decisiveness of that match. So if they wish to end the tournament here, they may. but if they want to play more Splatoon, that is also an option. It is up to them.
We all love Splatoon.
We do like this game. It is a good game. Splatoon makes me feel good, you know?
That is good.
Yeah.
I'm glad you enjoy Splatoon.
I'm glad we all enjoy Splatoon.
Yeah, definitely.
Alright, now do we have a response from our teams? Are they thinking about it? Seems they're thinking about it. The tension is building. I mean, how long am I gonna have to drum roll for? Okay. They're gonna take the score. Okay, Mictlan Heroes are going to take that round, and with that, they take the championship. They win Reef Rushdown 2. Props to them. They've done very well in this tournament, and they have earned their place on top.
Yeah, definitely. Congratulations, Dominican Hero, for taking the win there. But also really well done by Big Nuts there for taking second place. We noticed really well plays by them as well throughout this entire tourney. Thanks for everyone for participating.
Absolutely. We hope that we see a lot of returning teams for our next Reef Rushdown, especially with how close our top cut was. 3 of our 4 top teams won 4 out of their 5 matches. That's the kind of thing that doesn't happen very often, so hopefully we see some returning players. Hopefully they can get that back. We have an apology in chat here. Mictlan Heroes, they didn't want to take that point, but they have a player that needs sleep, and sleep in the end is probably more important. So we can respect that. It's not coming from a place of pride, it's coming from a place of very much needing sleep, and I think we can all relate to that on some level.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, well that is going to be it for our tournament and stream. I'm not sure how much we're allowed to plug here, but thank you very much for watching Reef Rushdown 2. There will be more. Keep an eye out on IPL's Twitter for more Reef Rushdown events and other events. IPL doing a lot of really cool Splatoon events.
Yeah, definitely. Yes, so where can people find you?
Oh, well, I'm glad you asked. I am quite easy to find, Yeson, at Yeson on Twitter, and also twitch.tv/Yeson. I will be streaming something tonight, which I very much recommend people come by. I don't know if this is cool or not. Can I promote my show? Can I? Excellent. Tonight, Splatoon Showdown Grand Final, 8 PM AEDT. If you're in Australian time zone, it's a really good time for you. We've got our 2 top finalist teams playing the craziest Splatoon you've ever seen. Be sure to drop by. It's going to be great. It's in like 3 hours. Damn, that's great.
Sure. Yeah, wonderful. I can't wait.
Alright, well that's me thoroughly promoted. Crystal, what about you?
Oh, hi, I am Crystal. You can find me on Crystal Splatoon on Twitter. However, my account is private. Please tell me who you are if you're following me, so I know to accept your request or not. Thank you for everyone for participating, and that's me.
Great, and that's going to be our tournament. Thank you everyone for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed those very good matches of Splatoon and some very class team names. Have a good night/day, everyone. Bye.